Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How's it going? How's everyone doing? Hello, you. Hello, you. Okay, so today is the last day before 0.14. So we're gonna be trying to wrap some things up. Hopefully we can. I have a list of the things that I'd like to add. We probably won't be able to do all of them, but that's okay. We can add more stuff later, but... Whoa. It's broken when we're on the chatting screen. Thank you, Adagon, for the hydrate. How's it going? Okay. So yeah, I think mainly the biggest thing that we need to work on a little bit is the blueprint stuff. I did work a lot on the menu last night, so I'll show you guys what I got going on. Yeah, hopefully we'll get this ready to go. Going good, play some pixels, yeah. Nice, nice. Cool. Alright, let's go over to... So this is the blueprint screen. I'll show you guys what it looks like in game. But it's working. I still need to clean it up a little bit, but it does have a list of all your blueprints. So whenever you create a blueprint, let's just create a blueprint of this thing over here. Like that, boom. Now if we hide that, click on blueprint menu button, it shows up in here. That's... why is it squished? Okay, I swear these looked normal last night. Now they're all weird. Keep aspects centered. Fit width. Should be fine. It's obviously not keeping the aspect ratio. Also, it's just not working inside of the margin. Well, let's restart the game. Maybe something weird happened. Let's restart. But it is working, and it generates a little preview of what the blueprint looks like in here too. So that's obviously very helpful, because you need to know what the blueprint looks like to know which blueprint it is. So, oh, yeah, we're getting there. Big boy games. So yeah, I just need to finish up, like, yeah, just a couple things in there. I would like the ability to rename the blueprint and stuff, but it's definitely tricky. It's just, it's a lot of... I have to make sure it all works. But let's go into it and check on everything. Okay, so we select some things over here. Bop. Nope, wrong button. Yeah, so now it looks normal. The only downside to this sprite preview thing is sometimes these images get cut off a litto bit. There is a solution to that, which I could just make the preview image larger than what the blueprint is. But I don't want to go too crazy with that, because then we'll have like this tiny little image at the center. And a huge gap all around the edges, so... But I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's not a huge problem. So yeah, I kind of have this up here so you can rename it. It's not really implemented yet, so we need to work on that. But you can click build on this, and then it like selects it as your active blueprint like this, and you can go put it wherever you want. So, like boom. Now I've placed a blueprint. Yeah, and it shows all the ones that you've recently used in here, so I do want to add an ability to mark a blueprint as being like a saved blueprint, you know? That would be nice. So maybe we'll work on that. So yeah. Saved. Yeah, I just need to work out all the jank in here. Of course, we need a way to import a blueprint too. You know, click on import blueprint or whatever, so. Yeah. So YT Pixel Gaming, welcome in. We're currently talking about blueprint stuff. Yeah, Toasty Weather is your song. So yeah, this is Starground, if you haven't seen it before. It's my game I've been working on for about 1.5 years. It's a combo between automation and dungeoning. Yeah, I'm adding like a blueprint system. I'm just filling out all the different functions here. So yeah, this copy blueprint string, we can implement that really quick. Let's do that. It's always Wednesday, Tuesday when I'm here, none of the other 4, yeah. I don't know. Okay, so pressed. Put that attached to there. So all this is gonna do, it's pretty easy. We're just gonna say, like, I think we can access the clipboard. Godot clipboard. OS set clipboard or something. It might be part of display server. Yeah. Clipboard set, and then it's just a string. So let's set that string to mod API.encode blueprint. Our current active blueprint. Which will do this. Blueprint is that. Okay. So that'll set our encoded blueprint to our clipboard. So let's make sure that works really quick. It should. I can click on this, copy blueprint string, and now I should be able to paste it in wherever I want. Didn't seem to work. Sometimes with this, you have to restart the game, or like, because the signals don't get connected when they're already open. So we just have to load back in, and it should work, I think. Yeah, this will be really nice to be able to share these strings like this, super easy, just bam. And now let's see if it worked. I don't know why it's not working. On a copy string pressed. Let me make sure that it's doing stuff. Oh, am I getting errors in here or something? No. It's not doing anything. Here, let's go ahead and fully restart out of everything. Hey, Captain Krabs, welcome in. How's it going? Welcome in. We are working on Starground. We're messing with some blueprint stuff. It's going pretty good. Just bug fixing, nice. Yeah, how's your game been going? Yeah, we're probably going to be doing some bug fixing today also. This is kind of my list of things we're going to work on today. I'm probably not going to be able to get all of it done, but that's fine. I need to market it and bad at that, yeah. Marketing's hard. With Starground, I probably spend, at least in the early days, I definitely spent more time marketing than developing, right? Because it's just so time consuming. Okay, there we go. Now it copied. We just needed to restart the game. But see, now it just gives you this nice blueprint string that you can import and export. It's funny because they look the exact same as the Factorio string, so It's because I'm doing the same process they're doing. It's just a good way to do it. Because encoding as a 64, base 64 string is going to be the most compact. And then also using like deflate and stuff to compress the byte array. But yeah, marketing is definitely tricky. It's a lot of work, but it's pretty important though. Unfortunately. Okay. I think we're gaming. So the copy blueprint string works. I do want to test, obviously, the paste blueprint string, which we don't have implemented. So I'll probably just put that in the saved list here at the bottom. Imagine that's what I'm gonna do. The irony is I work my day job in marketing. Oh yeah, last 17 years. Okay, I do the graphic side of it, not the actual marketing. Ah, okay, that's funny. Yeah. And let's see, where is... Okay, this is the saved one here. So yeah, we're gonna have another separator on this. Let's go over to that one. And then a button underneath this. Yeah. What I initially did for the marketing stuff for my game is just the devlogs on YouTube. And that was good. It's definitely, you know, kind of gone beyond that, I guess, since I don't really do the devlogs as much. I mean, honestly, Steam is such a good marketing tool itself. Just its algorithm and visibility stuff that it kind of does a pretty good job. Next Fest was a huge thing for marketing for Starground. It really made a pretty big difference. I got like 10,000 wish lists just from that alone, so that's definitely a very good one. Potentially unwanted app. What is the potentially unwanted app? I got a pop on my computer, guys. It's probably just like something totally normal. Okay. Fusion core. What is that? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna wait on that. Then again, alright, let's see. I don't have enough reviews to get on the algorithm or wish list. Yeah, that's one thing that's definitely important with Steam is like getting that initial boost of wish lists so that when you're releasing your game, you're on the popular and upcoming list, I think is what it's called. Yeah. Because pulling that off with Starground, yeah, that was definitely a big help. And again, I made a side scroller, which just sense from what I've been told. Yeah. I don't know, it's hard, you know? Even if you do everything right, a lot of times it still just feels like just a huge gamble, you know? Whether it actually pops off or not. It's always hard to say. I've seen so many games that look awesome, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why isn't this super popular? But they're just not, you know? I don't know. It's too bad. The algorithm works in mysterious ways. Death Sense is making a puzzle game? That's true, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's all about the roguelites these days. Which, to be fair, I think there's a good reason for that. I mean, roguelites are the most economical kind of game. It's basically creating more playtime out of fewer features, if that makes sense. So I think that's why a lot of games that seem to do well on Steam are usually like, you know, indie games that do well are usually roguelites. Yeah, it's just the easiest genre to do, right? So I think it's like, yeah, just easier in every aspect. I was kind of thinking that roguelites are the brain rot of game deving. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with a roguelite. I mean, the thing is that roguelites with the T is such a wide genre. It's so undefined that you could have like literally the only thing that ties them together is just like some kind of like repeated gameplay loop or like doing something again. It's pretty I don't know. It's not like you know, an FPS or like an automation game that has like a very defined like style. It could be like anything basically. So I don't know. Nothing wrong, but it broke my ideas so much. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what genre you do and stuff. Roguelite stuff is probably easier, but, you know, sometimes it's fun not to do roguelite. You should just do whatever you enjoy doing the most, right? I think that matters way more than anything else. Because if you're having fun making your game, you're going to want to work on it more, and it's going to end up being a way better game because of that. So, yeah. Let's see, we have a little menu that pops up here. Margin. Some games can just end, you don't necessarily need an infinite replayability. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, as long as you're keeping in mind the added challenge that might be just to add in that much content, but there's no reason you can't. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I want to make like a little pop-up menu for pasting the blueprint string. So we're going to keep this one anchored in the center. Whoa. I'm gonna have to wait and see what that was. That's one funny quirk of the Twitch API stuff, is it doesn't immediately like update, or it does immediately update, but the actual like event and stuff doesn't update. I think it's till it's processed. So now I've gotta wait. Okay, so we're gonna have a text edit here. So R3 moves, welcome in. How's it going? I do okay with all caps. Ah, there we go. Thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's funny how you have to wait so long for that, but finally went through. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. What is up with this thing? Why is it enormously tiny? Yeah, let's just set a minimum size on this. Set that minimum size to like 400. I don't really need a label there. I'll just delete that, honestly. And then this, we're gonna make expand vertically. There we go. So now you can just paste your blueprint string in there, click OK, and it'll try and do it. I need to make sure what form of OK I used in the translation sheet. Like, did I use OK all caps? Or did I use OK like that? Right. I did OK with a lowercase k. Just need to make sure on that. Alright. So then when we click OK on this, it's just going to dismiss this whole thing. So we're just going to call this the paste pop-up. And this color rect will be... So we don't want that to be a child of that. God, it got huge. I thought 400 was pretty big. Oh. Oh, why is that one? Yeah, we need to make this one a... Oh no, we want that one to be full though. But yeah, this one is on fill. There we go. Now I can set the size to whatever I want. Okay, so that'll pop up and ask you to paste your blueprint now. And then we click accept paste. Pressed. Connect that. So that'll read in whatever this is, which is var string is that dot text. We'll also go ahead and say paste pop-up dot visible is false. So inversely here, we'll say that dot visible is true, and we'll also make sure that this text is set back to nothing. Okay. And then we'll use that string to try to encode it and everything. So what we're going to do is say mod API dot decode blueprint string and say var blueprint is that. Now in here, it's going to basically check, as long as it's a blueprint, return it, otherwise it's an empty dictionary. So that's basically our error checking. We can say, hey, is that actually the thing? So now we can say blueprint if blueprint dot is empty. If it's not empty, then we know it's a valid blueprint, and we can say global dot saved blueprints dot pushback blueprint. So we'll give that a try. And I have it set up to where your saved blueprints are persistent, like when you close the game. The recent ones get cleared out, but the saved ones will stay forever. So, alrighty. So we'll see if all that works. I should probably also make sure that when you press this on paste pop-up, the text edit dot grab focus. For those controller freaks. Okay, let's see what that looks like now. I'm gonna have to close back out. Alright, so we got a blueprint here. Where'd my button go? I think I have to restart everything, yeah. Also, this should not be visible by default. And it shouldn't have dwaz in it. Okay. So this is going to be hidden. All right. Let's try this. kombucha here, guys, that I'm opening right now. Still a bunch more we gotta do. I would like to do sounds. This is just one little tick on our big list of things. Although, to be fair, a lot of these other things are really straightforward, though. You know? I'll probably also start moving some of these things away from here into the... I have, like, another list down here, which is, like, minor things. So, basically, it's, like, things I'd like to do, but I'm not going to worry about it too hard, right? Like, the conveyor not fully tiling on multiplayer is a very minor issue. I'm not going to worry about that right now. All those should be pretty easy to do. Like, I mean, this is the hardest one on the list, right? Once we knock this one off, we're in a good spot. So, hey, K-Mac, what's up? How's it going? Welcome in. Been playing THPS 3. Oh, that's Tony. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Awesome. Sick. Yeah, I'm excited to try out oh, whoops. Oh, it's not happy. Oh, interesting. So it's gotta be... I have to make sure that input is not null. I'll just say bar blueprint if input is not equal to null. Then we do that. Yeah, that's awesome. I've been wanting to try out the new Skate game. That should be out, I think, at the end of the summer. I always really loved Skate 3. I played that a lot on PS3 and stuff. It's pretty fun. So hopefully this upcoming Skate game will be cool too. Although I always worry though, like any game released by EA, you know, because there's always a potential for bad things. Why is this complaining? Trying to sign... Is it because we're doing base 64 to variant? Or is it because it's null? So we have to say... Right, that. I'll just say unmarshal is that. If unmarshal is packed byte array, then do that. Let's try that. There we go. Now it's not dying. Okay, so now we should be able to... Let's create a blueprint string. Bam. Go into here. We're going to copy the string, and then if we paste it here... Oh, it probably did work, but we have to... maybe it didn't work. I'll have to figure out why it didn't work. I'm just gonna print blueprint after we get the string. Just see what it looks like. We do have to say push the save blueprints, but then also go ahead and say update buttons. Let's see. So this one, copy the string, paste it, boom. What did we get out here? Yeah, we got it, but it's just not adding it to here for some reason. Not sure why. Oh, is that just when we copy the string or something? No. That was when we pasted it. See, boom, and it shows up. So why didn't it, Why is it not being pushed? It's not empty. Is it? Let's just see if it's actually working in here. Let's print a little thing. It's working. So we said save blueprints.pushback blueprint. And then we're going to say update buttons. So it's going to say, oh, I just don't actually have code to create the... Okay, I see. I'm also going to have this. I'm going to say... Let's see. Let's just do this for now. So now we're just going to do the exact same thing, but instead in the saved blueprints. So if we paste it again, oops, that's not a real blueprint. Copy, paste. Oh, it's probably not going to work. Oh. Whoopsies. Adding it to the wrong list. Let's try this again. There we go. Now it shows all of our saved blueprints in here. So yeah, we're gonna have to fix all this code because this is only set up for recent blueprints right now. We have to have some kind of identifier knowing which list this is on. So I'm just gonna have this down here. We're gonna say button set meta. I'm messing around with this metadata. It's kind of interesting because it lets me do like, normally what I would do is create a script for this button. But if I do it this way, I don't have to do that. So I'm gonna say type and then set that type to, I'll just create an enum. Enum types, and then we have recent and saved. So types.recent. And down here, we will set the same thing. Types.saved. And let's restart the game. Let's fix our code first. Okay, so now we'll have the difference between the two. So down here where I run select blueprint, we need to know, right, what is the one we're actually selecting. So we're going to say var type is equal to button dot get metadata of type, and default will be types.recent. So we're gonna have to change like which array and stuff we're accessing based off of that. This stuff is all fine. This is creating the icon and everything. So it's really just right here. We have to say if type is equal to types.recent, do it from there, else do it from there. So that'll be recent, this one will be saved blueprints. Alright. That's pretty much it there. So now we can select one from the saved without it breaking everything. We also need to fix this, which is the on delete pressed thing. So we also need to say var type is selected button.get meta type if type is equal to types.recent else like this. Where else is everything broken? Yeah, still quite a few more, isn't there? That's fine. Here, I'm just gonna make a function that's like, well, because we do this a lot where we're grabbing the thing or whatever. I'm just gonna make a function for it. Function grab current. I'll say grab blueprint. And we'll be returning blueprint. So selected button. If selected button, then we're gonna get the meta. The type. Oops. If type is equal to types recent, else. There we go. This will just be better. Boom. So now we can just call grab blueprint instead of all this stuff every single time. And it won't matter anymore now. You know, like up here where I have this types thing, or not there, but here, we don't have to do that anymore. Now we just say that. And I think that's it. Let's see. On delete pressed, we also have to do that one. That's fine. That one needs a little funny business. That's okay. Grab blueprint. Build pressed. It'll set it to our active blueprint. On copy pressed. See, this also needs to change. Blueprint will be equal to whatever grab blueprint returns. Let me encode it. And I think we're good to go. So let's save this. And let's relaunch the game and see if everything works. So we should be able now to have... Oh no! Awesome, I just spilled my kombucha. It bubbled up. Gosh dang it. I don't have a towel around here, do I? Hold on. Got something over here. My hands are gonna smell like kombucha though. I love spilling my drink everywhere. Ah, they're all like kind of weird and sticky now. I'm gonna have to go wash my hands, guys. Okay, but anyways, here's our save blueprints. You can also notice that they got remembered. So if we delete them now, yep, everything's behaving as intended. Cool. If we copy a new one, it'll go to our recent list. Boom. Copy blueprint string. We paste it in. Boom. Alright, also, let's go change our paste pop-up. This should be wrapping the text. I do have it on wrap. Oh, it's on smart. We just have to say arbitrary. What is this, wrap mode? Okay. I don't like how the lightning's implemented. When the surge protector takes too long to make, rebuilding destroyed buildings is annoying. When instead of destroying the building, the lightning stuns the building. Yeah, that could be good. Because, yeah, that is one thing that I'm like... I don't know, conflicted on. We could just make it so it, like, pauses the building for a minute. Deactivates it. Yeah. We could probably do that. I'll look into that in a minute. I'm gonna go wash my hands because I'm freaking covered in kombucha now, so I'll be back, guys. I guess I'll put up the BRB screen. Be right back, everybody. Okay, I'm back. Go away, BRB screen. Oh? Oh, we reached our follower goal. Epic. Obliterator of Pi, thank you so much for being the 15th 100 follower. Epic. Well, let's change our follower goal. Start a new goal. Start goal. Did it start? There we go. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Alright. Yeah, we're 1,500 followers now. It's epic. Oh, my drink is... I'm gonna freak out, guys. Should have brought my drink to wash it. Think about it. It's okay. Win some, you lose some. Okay. But yeah, I agree with Yoshik. I think it would be better. I was thinking about doing a system like that with like the deactivation stuff. I just need to think about how I'm going to do that. Because it's not exactly easy. Maybe I could temporarily disable the process event of the building. And that would kind of work. Yeah, the fish do play with the duck, yeah. It's funny, because any entity will push the ducks around, so... Here, if I build one in front of this fish, you'll see. He pushes them around. Yeah. Watch, watch, watch. Look at him go, look at him go. So technically it also works on enemies and stuff if you were able to build those in the dungeon. Maybe for funsies I could make it so you could. But then I'd have to deal with clearing them out and stuff. One of the ducks pushed other ducks, that'd be crazy. Technically I could make it do that, but it would be weird because it's like a building. I'll look into that. Okay. So what's next on our blueprint menu? We've got this working with the recents. We can copy the string and paste it. I want to make it so when you paste in a string, it automatically selects the new one that's been created. So let's do that. So this is if it's successfully created it. We're gonna get our buttons. I kind of need to know like the index of where we're at. Well, if we push back, then we know that the index, right, of this will be index is saved blueprints.size. because it's just going to be one after our current size. So then we can just say select blueprint button. Well, I guess we don't need to know the index. We can just say saved list.get child and index. I think you can say -1 to get the last one. Yeah. So now we just say -1. We can say select blueprint -1. I think that'll work. Enemies pushing boulders. That could be cool, yeah. Ninja made a ducks. That'd be crazy. Okay, so now if we do this, let's just test it. I'm gonna delete everything in here. So if we paste a string in, oops, it's not a real string. And then we paste it, it should automatically, yeah, it selects the one that we just did. So I'm also gonna do that, select blueprint, but on this one, I'm gonna say button dot grab focus. Just so it's a little more obvious that we actually click the button. So now let's attempt this. Boom. Now it selects the blueprint. Good. We can click build and all that stuff. All right, cool. So we're getting there. I mean, blueprints are in a good spot. I mean, it's not like there's necessarily anything in here that's broken. We're kind of starting to get into the more nitty-gritty stuff now, especially since we already have the blueprint stuff, the copying and pasting working. The only other thing I'd like to do is maybe just make it so you can change the name of these blueprints, you know? And hit enter, and then it applies and updates in here. Because it would be nice. And since the blueprint stuff is like index-based versus like alphabetical or whatever, it means I can just easily change it. And I can retain the position it's in, so... yeah. It'll just be in order of when you added the blueprint. So hey, welcome in. I'm new here. Always wanted to make a game, so just downloaded Godot. Any tips / suggestions / warnings? You're already a software developer in C++, web. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would say the biggest tip is just read the documentation. It seems like an obvious thing, especially for people that have already programmed, but sometimes people just don't read documentation, and it's too bad because it's really helpful. So yeah, definitely recommend it. And Sprite. Yeah, other things I would say is definitely spend the time to get familiar with the differences of Godot versus more typical programming structures. So C++ is like, I mean, it depends on the APIs you're using and stuff, but generally it's more object-oriented, or like or not object-oriented, but more via like inheritance and stuff, you know? Godot is, I think, more suited to like entity component structure system, whatever you want to call it. Kind of like putting in like because how Godot works, everything is a node, right? And really like accepting the node structure and what's the word? Embracing nodes is good. Because nodes allow you to do some interesting things. I would definitely recommend looking into entity component structure because it lets you like put in different nodes as like a modifier, like a module, instead of making everything, all your functionality in the game inherited from other nodes. Inheritance is still in Godot, and I think it's definitely, there's reasons to inherit, but definitely take the time to like really understand what Godot can do, because I think it helps a lot. It makes it a lot easier to make your game. It just gives you more Yeah, other than that, I would say just... let's see, with your experience, do you suggest any simple games to start learning this project? Yeah. I would just start with something very simple. If this is the first time you've ever made a game. It's definitely, I mean, there's a lot of similarities to other kinds of programming, of course, but it's, it still is, you know, it's a different field, right? Game development versus, like, web design and stuff. It's kind of a different thing. So, start with something very small and simple, I would say. In terms of what would be simple, probably, I don't know, what would be a nice simple thing to start with? I mean, honestly, a roguelite would be pretty easy. You know, just that concept of, like, once you add in content, being able to reuse it again and again. But I mean, it really, I don't know, I wouldn't worry so much about, like, picking an easy genre or whatever. It just kind of depends on what you want to make. I mean, obviously, don't start with something insane like an MMO, because you're never going to be able to finish it. It's going to take a million years. You just don't have the manpower. Nobody really does. Yeah, you could do, like, a little roguelite thing. You could try recreating a game if you wanted to go down that route, like make chess or something, right? Because that can be really good for learning, like, dealing with coordinates, and it's a super simple game. It's already, like, a defined thing, so that's one option. You could also do, I mean, you could do, like, a platformer and stuff. Those are, like, the typical easy games. But yeah. I mean, the specific idea or genre doesn't matter too much. Just take the time to think about everything you're going to have to do for a given idea, right? And make sure it's something that you're willing to do before you dive into it and realize you're stuck with it, so. Like, Starground is kind of a complicated game. It's multiplayer, which I definitely would not do multiplayer stuff unless you really want to, but not as a first game. I'd say wait on that until you at least are a little more familiar with the engine. But yeah, I mean, Starground's got, like, building stuff, which can get really complicated because it also obviously has to work with multiplayer and everything, so it's pretty crazy. But yeah. Hopefully that helps, though. I'm always here to answer questions if you've got any, so just let me know. So I'm going to turn this into a function. It's going to be generate image preview. I'm going to pass in a blueprint. Pass that in, and then this is going to return that. Before I start a project, should I stick with Godot or invest my time learning in some other engine? I think Godot is a pretty good engine to learn in. It's very straightforward, and Python's very, like, easy syntactically to learn. So there's definitely nothing wrong with using Godot. Really, engine stuff, like, that's always, like, a common question people are asking, like, what's the best engine? I need to pick the right one. But it's so, like, there's not really an answer to that question, you know? Different engines have different strengths and weaknesses. Godot is, I do like Godot, and I personally prefer Godot, but of course there's downsides to it versus something like Unity or GameMaker, right? Or even Unreal. Unreal Engine is really great at doing super, like, high fidelity graphical stuff. So if you're making, like, a 3D game, especially if, like, the style of your game is kind of leaning more towards realism, then Unreal is probably a pretty good pick. There's also Unity, which, you know, it's an engine that's been around for a long time. It's got a lot of assets and, like, people solving problems, and you can research all that. And so there's a lot of community support, I guess is what you would call that. A lot of documented things. There's Game Maker. Game Maker is something. I mean, I used to use Game Maker. It's fine. But just keep in mind that you're probably going to be mainly limited to only 2D in Game Maker. It technically can do 3D, but it's kind of tricky. I wouldn't recommend it. Sprites, where do you get them? Where did you create them? I've created all the sprites in Starground, except a couple of things. I didn't create these. I mean, technically I customized these, but this is an open source, like planet shader that I got online. And then I also didn't do like, the controller keybind icons. So if, like these, I didn't draw all these out. But that's, I think, literally it. Everything else I've done myself, including like the UI and all of the buildings, the items, everything. So I used to do pixel art commissions for a while, before I started like doing game development stuff full time. So I've got a lot of experience doing game assets already. Not to mention all the assets I've done over the past, like, God, how many now? Like 8 years of working on my own games, so yeah. I assume realistic looking games require a lot of manpower. Yeah, they're definitely very, very hard. Really, like, it's just... It's not so much the engine limitation, right, to make a game look realistic. I think it's just your ability to generate models and textures and stuff. It can be a lot of work, so I probably wouldn't recommend that unless it's absolutely what you want. Check Game Maker. I'm an open source dev, so Godot. Yeah. No, I like Godot. I do love that it's open source because you don't have to worry about, like, bad company practices. One thing I've always hated with Godot is the whole subscription model. You know, you can't export your game unless you pay for it and stuff, which I think is just dumb. And Unity's, you know, Unity's Unity. They did the funny, uh-oh. Why is my building placed in the middle? What's happening? Well, that's a bug. These are not supposed to be placed down like this. Why is that happening? Is it just when I'm selecting? No, it's just broken. Okay, we might have to take a look at that. I say get it. I'm stupid. I always get the two confused in my head because they both start G. Game Maker has the funny subscription model, which is annoying, and I hate it because then you can't export your game. But Godot is open source, so you never have to worry about anything that the company that owns the engine does. Because if Godot Foundation did something bad, then just, I don't know, download the engine and then you have it forever for free because it's open source. So there's not really any potential for that. And it's also a community-based project, right? So it's like, people have the power to change the engine for the better. So that's the thing about open source that I love compared to something closed like Unity or Game Maker. So yeah. What'd you use to create them? Yeah, so I used to use Paint.net. Most of the sprites in the game were made with Paint.net, but I've swapped over to using Krita. And Krita is definitely nice. I would recommend Krita over Paint.net. It's not the best program for pixel art. If you want to do specifically pixel art, I'd probably say try Sprite. I just really wanted something that was more multi-purpose than A-Sprite. A-Sprite's definitely the best for pixel art, but it kind of sucks for non-pixel art stuff. And I don't really want to have to open up 2 different programs, one for the pixel art and one for like the regular art stuff. You know, it's just annoying. Only easier for non-pixel art stuff. I mean, yeah, that's fair. I just like having one program for both, you know. You only use A-Sprite for non-pixel art stuff? Yeah. I don't know. I tried to do that in A-Sprite, but it's just like, it's just, I don't know. It's jank. It's too large canvas, max brush size. Yeah. I don't know. It's fine, but it's definitely like a pixel art, you know, like catered engine, or not engine, program. So. Thanks for snoozing the ads. Also, yeah, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. How did you land on the style? Yeah, I mean, the style has evolved a lot over time. Initially, it used to be super basic, where it was just... I didn't even have, like, the sides or the water or anything in the environment. I mean, I have the old builds I could show you guys, but it's basically just, it used to look really bad, but... Yeah, I mean, the style, it's just kind of like, I did have a general idea of what I wanted it to look like from the very beginning. I knew that I wanted to keep the visual style and gameplay of the game relatively, like, simple and approachable to people. And so that's why I kind of, decided to go with, like, a kind of cartoony pixel art style, if that makes sense. Where everything's kind of vibrant and flashy and not too, like, realistic, you know? I mean, some sprites are more simple than others, obviously, like... I don't know. The chest is a pretty simple sprite. It's just some rectangles. But then you have something that's a little more complicated, like the asteroid collector is a new one. You know, it's got a lot more going on. But it still fits within the style. It just depends on the building. But yeah, it's just been a long, like... That's how a lot of things go. Like, you can have an initial kind of concept going into it, but things evolve. As you work on it and change things, it's gonna change. Yeah, the asteroid collector does work everywhere, although keep in mind that on planets that aren't Opus, the rate is reduced by 4 times. So you can use it on this planet if you want to grab a little bit of gold or something, but it's gonna be way slower. And I did that on purpose because I want there to be a reason to actually put the asteroid collector on Opus. You know, if you spend the time to build your infrastructure on Opus, it's going to pay off. Because here, you're going to be wasting a lot of electricity. Each one of these uses 30 power. So if you put too many of these down, it's going to start to really drain your network. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can see how long this next asteroid's taking. It's pretty slow. Oh, it is really slow. It's also slow because I'm running out of power. There we go. There's another gold. So reduce the lens recipe to 2 gemstone. We could do that probably. Yeah, it's at 4 right now. I forget what the recipe for the water purification is. Yeah, I mean, it's 8 water for 1 gemstone. I might reduce it a little bit. Yeah, 32 mineral water to 1 lens. Yeah, it's pretty expensive. I could reduce the, Let's go into there and do that. Lens. Boom. Alright. So, I mean, the blueprinting stuff is going good. Now we've got to do the renaming. I'd like to get that set up, so let's work on that. So the way that we'll do that is whenever we are selecting our thing in here, our name box, we're gonna say on text submitted, that's when we actually change our stuff. So if selected button, I will set a maximum length of like, I don't know, 50 or something, maybe 100. We'll decide on that. But I don't want the names to be insanely long. So let's see. And we're gonna have to do update buttons. I should also have like a, do I have index up here? I can't remember if I do or not. I do have index, so that's useful. So I can say selected button get meta index. So it's not capitalized. Oops. And now I can say get or grab blueprint. Now I could say blueprint. I guess we don't technically need to get that at all. We just say grab blueprint. It'll set it to whatever. Then we just change the name of it. Just like that. So let's see if that works. I will have to restart the game. Oh. So we got an ad starting soon, gamers. My apologies. Alexa, fan on. All right, let's go test this out. So we should be able to rename these, theoretically. Since they're a static reference saying grab blueprint should return the actual one in the table. Yeah, it should work. So let's try it out. We change this, hit enter. Oh yeah, and it updates in there. And we change it to, oops. That's something we need to set, is like prevent this thing from, let's change it to GGG. Okay, so now you can save your, or rename your blueprints, which is nice. So, and when you copy the string and stuff, it'll sync that name with everybody else that gets the blueprint, so. Pretty nice. Why is there a chair on the other side of the screen? It's a whole long thing. I'll answer that after the ads are over. Okay, so we need to make it so when you start clicking on that button, it doesn't break everything. So yeah, think for the spin. So we need to say switches in or out of editing mode. Can we spin it? Yes, you can with the Twitch point redemptions. The spin thing. But yeah, we initially a while ago, Oshik asked for like a chair cam, you know, to have like a camera on the chair. And I didn't know how that was gonna work, you know, because I'm in my chair. So I instead put an image up of the chair, and it just sat there for a while. Eventually, I decided to turn it into a 3D model and put it like in the Twitch overlay. So Rats, welcome in. Is the game done soon? Not that soon. I mean, we're getting there. I'm probably thinking 2026. Also, thank you for the on-screen celebration. I appreciate it. But we'll get there eventually. $2036. Yeah, totally. Let's see, elevator group. I want to see what I do in here when I start typing on that node. Also, this is wrong. Oh, we don't have a blur on the space elevator UI. Interesting. So we have editing toggled. We don't have any of that, but should be setting the player thing in here somewhere, like for the editing. Unless it's not. Okay, I know one place it does it is the speaker, for example. Can interact. Okay. So let's go back into here. So if toggled on, okay, ads are over, everybody. Sorry about that. But yeah. What is this game? This is Starground. It is the game I've been working on for about 1.5 years. It's on Steam right now. It's in early access. So yeah, we're just working on a new update for the game, 0.14. It's gonna add in blueprints and a bunch of different automation things. So yeah, it is on Steam, so anybody can buy it. Although I recommend waiting until tomorrow because it's gonna go on sale for the Automation Fest. So you know, and then also you get to enjoy 0.14. So don't buy it yet. Yeah, anyone's welcome to check it out. You can run the buy command. It's in the stream title, the different commands we have, so. Will be cheaper than it was when I bought it, because I'll get slightly sad. Like, well, it'll just go on sale. I mean, it's just a temporary cheaper. I am also gonna mention this soon, I think alongside the 0.14 post, but we probably will be increasing the price of the game. We're not going to be doing like a massive jump up or anything. I think we're going to go up from $10 to $14, just because with how much more content there is in the game, it feels like it's kind of warranted at this point. $60, I don't want it. Yeah, I'll go over all that. I'll make a post on Discord because I want to let everybody know like a month ahead of time before we actually do any price stuff. So what's your thoughts on the use of AI, LLMs? Should they be used in games, development, so on? I personally am not very much in support of AI stuff. I think it's a detriment to the game and also your just own learning and ability to create things. I mean, yes, technically it's like this temporary little boost where it's like, oh, I don't have to draw this stuff. Whoa. And it's the same with the code where it's like, whoa, it's just doing all the code for me. But then as soon as you try and make all that stuff work together, it's not good. AI does not understand how to design games. Like, yeah, it can program like this little individual isolated thing, but trying to get it to actually create like this big whole, like, you know, game, it's just not gonna work. It doesn't know how. So yeah, I don't know. I always avoid it with Starground and stuff. I never use it. And I think it's also, if you're trying to make it like a gameplay thing, it's just the same issue where it's like, it's really hard to control what its output is going to be. And you also have the potential for like injection attacks and stuff, or whatever they call that, prompt attacks, where like people can like make it do things it's not supposed to. It's just, it's difficult. It's kind of a nightmare. So yeah, I don't know. I think it has, AI stuff has its place. I'm not a big fan of generative AI because I think it's desaturating the value that real people are putting out into the world, right? Like, what's the meaning behind stuff that an AI does or says? There really isn't any, right? Like, the reason why games and stuff made by real people to me are special is because it's that person pouring themselves into their project, right? It's things they're creating, things they've written, the idea they've come up with and everything, right? It's like a reflection of themselves. But when you make an AI do all the stuff for you, then I don't know, it loses that like that uniqueness, that quality that you get from like a real game. So I don't know. I don't think it's, I mean, you can use it as a tool. You can ask it questions. I don't. Because I'd rather go through the trouble and the struggle of learning myself, because I feel like I get more out of it that way. It's just like cheating in school, right? If you cheat in school, yeah, you can pass the assignment or whatever, but then when you have to do it for real, you're not going to know what you're doing. You're not really learning, right? You're just letting the AI tell you what to do. So that's just what I think. But I definitely wouldn't recommend, like... definitely learn how to program and stuff and draw by yourself, but you can use it as an aid. It's not that bad to use for that, but anyways, let me read everything I missed in here. I have a game idea with developing civilization thing, and I want to implement an LLM for artificial language in the game, but having an AI write your code doesn't work. Well, yeah. LLM stuff can be interesting for generating, like, interesting dialogue, right? Where like you can't really exactly predict what the AI is going to say every single time, but then that's also the problem at the same time too, right? Trying to integrate something like that like into the code is a nightmare, because usually dialogue and stuff, you want to have like an actionable result of like, hey, here's the thing that I'm saying. It's either going to like initiate a quest or something, or you know, there's a reason for dialogue. I mean, it's just really hard to like make a LLM output work for that. Yeah, you can instruct it to give you like a specific format for output, you know, but the issue is that sometimes it just hallucinates and doesn't do what you tell it to do, so it's unpredictable. I don't know. That's also why I never trust it. Like, that's why I don't ask it questions, because sometimes it just tells me the wrong thing. But the way that it does it, it's always going to sound sure of itself. And so you're never going to really know if it's wrong or not, unless you actually do the research yourself. So that's the thing. I've been coding for 15 years. I wouldn't share my entire code base to an AI. Yeah. I keep asking how many R's there are in strawberry. Yeah. Man. Also, Lawrence VDM, welcome in. How's it going? Wasn't there something? Oh yeah, this. For some reason, this can't interact thing doesn't seem to be working. Let's go see why. If toggled on, it should be here. Maybe that's just whenever we toggle editing. That might be what that means. Yeah, it's not the same thing as selecting. So that's fine. We just have to change the signal like it's sent in here. We just have to say on focus entered on this, I think. And then also on focus exited. And hopefully that'll work. No, we don't need the toggled thing. Disconnect that one. Okay, let's try that. I gotta restart the whole game. Alright, man. It's pretty late on this side of the world. Thanks for the tips warnings. Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you so much for coming into the stream. I appreciate it. Hopefully it was helpful. Yeah, if you ever run into things or you have more questions, let me know. I'll be here, so. Yeah, he's a tool and used writing can be pretty useful, but at the same time I do my best to ruin it and screw AI, yeah. It's frustrating because, like, AI itself is not the problem. This is the thing that's important to know. Is I'm not necessarily anti-AI. It's not like I'm a Luddite or whatever, like anti-technology. I think it's good, and there's really good uses for it and stuff, but I think mainly the issue is just how companies use it, right? It's used as like a weapon against consumers, right? But hey, my Rainer, welcome in. How's it going? Thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, welcome in, everybody. What's going on? What were you up to today on your stream? Okay, does this work now? Okay, that works, but we're moving around, so we have to say... Oh, that was odd. Hold on. If I do that and then enter, I can't click E because this is focus. Okay, I just have to make sure that when we enter it, we say lose focus or something. Release focus is the function. So I think for the follows, guys, I appreciate it. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. Yeah, we're currently working on our automation game Starground. Skin Biscuits, thank you for the follow. I'm currently doing, let's see, global dot. I'm gonna say can move is false. And then can move is true again. So this is a blueprint menu for our game Starground. Basically just adding in the ability to copy a blueprint of some buildings like this and then be able to place that down elsewhere like that. Boom. Right? And so we're just kind of working on getting the menu for the blueprint stuff set up. This is going through. I'm making it so you can rename your blueprints and stuff like that, but yeah, it's going good. We're just working on this little like text box stuff right now. I don't know why this isn't working. Should say release focus. Maybe I just need to do that. Say thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Just getting some work done, reviewing PRs, fixing bugs, refactoring. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just, we've got an update coming out tomorrow, 0.14 of Starground, so we're, grinding that out. Getting that going. Yeah, it's just going to be an automation update. It's going to add in, like a new zone that you can build on and stuff, so I think it'll be cool. But yeah. Let's see if this works now. So if I do that and enter, still not losing focus on here, so I'm not sure. I might just have to restart the game. Give up the focus. Yeah, I don't know why that's being funny. I can say grab focus on that. I'll say release focus and then selected. Oh, release focus isn't working because it's not the... I'm not releasing focus on the text edit. Okay. This is why. Dot release focus. Alright, let's try that. No, this is not Kotlin. This is a GD script. Making Starground in Godot, so. Can't be Kotlin. Kotlin has braces, thankfully. Yeah. I don't really mind the no braces so much with Godot. I definitely was like I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about it going into it because I've programmed with braces my entire life, right? With like Java and everything like that, C++ and C, and all the languages, and C#. So going into a language that doesn't use braces was odd, but it's not too bad. So Shamanic Arts, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's just all about like, in a way, it kind of like forces you to, you know, do the tabbing and stuff properly. So I think it's fine. But yeah. All right, let's try this out. Hopefully we can rename this and it should lose focus whenever we enter the name. So we're focused on it. It should stop us from moving and stuff. We hit enter. Uh-oh. Oh, selected button is freed. So this is something that's troublesome. Sometimes our selected button value gets like unreferenced. Whenever we run that function, update buttons or whatever, it causes issues. So I think what I also need to do in combination with selected button is store like our var last index too, so that we can re-index our selected button. That would probably be a good idea. So Akon says, I don't know how to pronounce it, but thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Ground Star. Okay, just bought Starground. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy. Let me know if you have any issues or anything. C is love, C is life. C is pretty good. I don't mind C. I definitely prefer C++ more, but I mean, I prefer C# more than C and C++, but you know. Yeah, there is an experimental branch up right now for Starground if you do want to mess around with the new content. So yeah, you can just go to properties, betas, and then go in the experimental branch. Yeah, once we're updated like to the actual version tomorrow, that will don't use the experimental branch anymore. Because I'm not going to continue updating it with like patches and stuff until the next major update development starts. So okay, so last index I'm actually just going to say is null. So here's what we're going to do here. We're going to have all the index stuff here. So let's see. Yeah, because I don't ever want, like, our stuff to get weird and messed up. Because whenever we run update buttons, it, like, the button that we're selecting gets, like, deleted, right? And so it's kind of a problem. I mean, I guess something we could do on update buttons is just say at the end of it, or at the beginning, we say... Right, select blueprint null. And that'll just kind of like set our button back to nothing. Just so we can see the cases where that is a problem or we're not choosing what to be selected after. But now you can see like it's... Ooh. Ooh. I don't know why that's... That's our selected button. I type something in, and it crashes. Let's just restart the game or something. Usually that helps. Okay, what else do we have on our list today? I want to get as many of these done as possible. I'm going to create a list of like the absolute necessary stuff. Right? So these are things that I need to get done for this update to work. So first off, we got blueprint ghosts. I need to get that working. Blueprint UI. Void issue and Opus I'd like to do. We definitely need like a little tutorial pop-up for Opus. And these are the like really necessary things. So I'd like to get all these done. Hopefully today, we'll see. And then I have all the extra time just for the little nice bits and bobs. C++ is just C with extra steps. I do like vectors though, yeah. Why does that keep crashing? It's like selected button isn't real. That seems stupid. Oh, it's because we're running update buttons. Duh. I'm just stupid. So Shadow Fang, welcome in. How's it going? Yeah, C# is just C+++++. That's just two pluses stacked on each other, so. Okay, there we go. Now it's, I hit enter and it's good. So yeah, you can see it like sets the selected button back to null, so we have to fix that. But it's not a big deal. Build there, that looks like it selects it, sets it back to null. Copy string is fine. Delete should also set it back to null. Yeah, we're good there. So, also I want to make this button wrap here because it's a little crazy. Let's go do that. We can just say auto wrap mode right here. I think word smart is fine. Is that what I want? Soft braking. Should be fine. I wonder why it just keeps getting longer and longer. Actually, auto wrap mode is not on word smart by default, that's why. So we can just go up to here. We say button dot, oops. Auto wrap mode is equal to word smart. Okay. I'm doing good. I'm a game developer too. Nice. I use Gdevelop. Gdevelop. What is that? Okay, so it's like a online game engine. Cool. Nice. Haven't made a full game yet. I'm working on it though. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Also using Gdevelop at the moment. Ah, nice. Yeah. Cool stuff. Okay, there we go. Now the blueprint button wraps. Okay, 100 characters might be a little long for this blueprint. So I think I'm going to decrease the amount a little bit because it gets kind of insane. Maybe half it. Maybe we go to 50. It's a browser game engine? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Now it's like limited. I guess we go a little more than that. We can go like 75 just so that we can fill out the entire box. I don't like the browsers using the executable feels better. Yeah, okay. That's totally fair. Yeah, I'm not really... I never really like to do stuff like that in the browser, but it's nice to have the ability to, though, for the people that want to. Cool, epic buildings. So yeah, I need to make it so when we hit enter on this, it doesn't just like get rid of it. I need to make it select this button. So what we can do is just grab like we know that when we change this, the list and the indexing of the list does not change, right? So we know that this button position will always, like, will still be in the same position when we update our buttons. So we can just remember the index, update the buttons, then select it again. And it'll look like nothing happened. Is this the final font choice? Yeah, this is the font that we're going with. There is also the ability and accessibility options to enable, like, a non-pixel art font. Some people don't like the pixel art font, which is totally fine. That's why I added the ability for, to undo that, to do a different... Whoa. That's a weird blueprint. Oh, it's because the blueprint size was 0 like that. And so... okay, we have to fix that. I have to make it so that the size of the blueprint is always at least 1 tile. That's kind of funny, actually. It just looks like I'm having trouble with that font. I mean, yeah, it's just to each their own. I personally like the pixel art font, but because it just matches with the style of the game better. But you can totally just disable it and use like a smooth font. So, yeah. But I'm going to use the pixel art font. My game is called Holographic Brawl. I think Smash Bros, but in a simulated world. You know, see Ash Shadows, the announcer and spectator. Yeah. Nice, nice. What's your game? This is Starground. It's available on Steam now, in early access. It's going pretty good. It's sort of a combination between an automation game and a dungeoning game, like a dungeon crawler. So you can go to the dungeons and go fight evil guys, go kill guys. This is we got a fishing room. Okay, we got a vault room. Okay, here's some enemies. You can battle and kill these guys and stuff. Yeah, it's going good. Just been working on this for a while. Currently working on an update, 0.14, which is going to add just a bunch of new automation content. Yo, I won the challenge. Chin liking pixels, I know, crazy. Let's see. Automated Stardew Valley, kind of like, yeah, it's definitely kind of like Stardew Valley. I mean, I don't know. I would say it's definitely more like Factorio. Yeah, like a mashup between, like, I always think of it as like a mashup between Factorio and Binding of Isaac, right? I mean, I know in Binding of Isaac you don't really like choose your weapons. In this game you actually like build your own weapons, so like they're modular. They're made out of like 3 different parts. So I can drag in whatever parts I want in here. You could even use weird funny stuff like this. Like just an item if you want, but probably wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I would say like a Factorio Binding of Isaac. I haven't played Moonlighter, so I don't really know what that game's like, but probably like that. There's also like some farming aspects. I could see the Stardew Valley thing. There's fishing in the game, and you can also grow crops. Although it's not really meant to be like the primary focus of the game. It's definitely like more of a side thing, an aid to the dungeoning. Like over here, we've got the harvester. So yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like, we started working on Starground because that funny game Forager was abandoned. The developers of Foragers just abandoned it and didn't work on it anymore. So that was always really disappointing because they promised, they were saying, oh, we're gonna add multiplayer, then they didn't add it. So that was kind of the initial spark where we were like, all right, we're gonna make our game multiplayer because I want to be able to play with people. And it's definitely changed a lot since that initial concept. Starground's a lot more like true automation versus how like Forager handles automation, quote unquote. I mean, automation. Forager is not really an automation game. I would say Starground's definitely a little more hardcore in that aspect, so. But yeah. Game's gonna have 30 fighters, a few stages, some modes, one being online mode. Yeah. No, it's all good. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, I'd be wary of like how hard online stuff can be. It can be kind of a challenge, but as long as you're aware of it. Yeah, multiplayer in Starground has been a nightmare. I mean, multiplayer is super cool. Don't get me wrong. I do like multiplayer games. But implementing multiplayer that's stable and stuff, it's hard. It takes a lot of work, so. Also, Winston Uncut on YouTube. Did I program that? Yes, I am the programmer for the whole game, so. So that'll be very last thing. I would definitely be careful about that. I think one thing that's so hard about multiplayer stuff is you kind of have to start integrating it from the very beginning. Because if you try and approach multiplayer at the end after everything's already finished, it's going to be an enormous amount of work. So keep that in mind. But index, and now we can go ahead and say so we're grabbing blueprint. I guess, do we also need a type? Yeah, I guess so. Main menu isn't even finished yet. Okay, yeah. Be selected. Oops. Button alt. Get meta. And this is getting the type thing that I have set. So that way I know which button or which list I'm supposed to select the button from. Well, no, yeah, we need to know that. So now we can say, if type is types dot recent else. So we're going to be grabbing, we're going to say recent list dot get child at index. And we're just going to say select, oops, blueprint with that button. And this one will be the saved. I can't type. Okay. So this should work. What this is basically doing is just storing the index and the type of the button. And then we update the buttons and refresh everything, and then we reselect the button that we just had selected. So now in here, if I edit the name on this, you can see it looks like nothing happened, even though technically we unselected and then reselected the button. So. And you can also rename these temporary blueprints too, if you want, because I mean, why not? Although that seems to be a bug. I'm changing this blueprint, but then it selects this one for some reason. So that's pretty odd. Why would it be doing it that way? Oh, that's something we're gonna have to fix, I think. Because since we're iterating through the list backwards, it means that the index is going to be inverse. Yeah, so we got to fix it. Also, I thought of a function for the mod API, add plan to display. Yeah, I do want to do that because I'm tired of the like Star Launcher display being this like static thing that we can't really edit easily. So I'm thinking of doing what I'm thinking of doing is just inside of the regions table, I'm just gonna have a key that points to a scene that will get instantiated into the Star Launcher. So it'll just be something like Star Launcher button, and this will just be a path, or it'll actually just be the loaded asset, right, like that. So I'd like to do that, just so that we can give ourselves the ability to actually add in the icons. And then if it's a region that you don't want showing up, for example, like, well, all these should show up. I don't have a region here that doesn't show up, but yeah, it would also need a position. We could just say Star Launcher button info or data, and then make that a dictionary with the different keys, and then just call this scene, right, like that. And then you also have position, which is a vector 2. That's probably how I'm going to do it. Oops. Oops. Like that. Because, yeah, I'd like to minimize the number of function calls people have to do for stuff like this. I mean, because this is just, why not just include it as a key in here? Seems like the easiest way to go about it. And then if there's no key, it just doesn't add the button. So you don't have to call a function to do this, because you have to create this data anyways, so it's just easier to put it into the region instead of having to, yeah, have a script to call the function and do all the stuff. Because then it's more data-driven that way. I'd always like to keep things as data-driven as possible, because it's just better that way. Obviously, for like integrating a region or adding stuff into the table initially, we have to have a function for that, but yeah. I'll try and get that done. I'll put that down in sure, I'll put it down here. Make it so regions can be added dynamically to the Star Launcher. So yeah, I'll work on that. Because I'd love people to, like, I think that's the final thing we need for full, like, region modding. As soon as people can put the button onto the Star Launcher, I think we're finally home free. Yeah, probably. I'll run through all that stuff and just make sure that modding for regions will work. Make sure modding for regions works. The only other thing we might have to do is the, like, in level, being able to add in the tile sets into here. So I'll probably have another function that's like add world or something to level. Because world generator is going to be looking for those things in here. I think, what does it do? It actually just uses this stuff. It uses like the region data for those things now. So yeah, all we really need then is just a function to add it into the level node, and then I think we're set. I think that's everything we have to do. Yeah. Because the way that regions are generated now in Starground is that it goes like per region. So there is also this function call though, like the create resources call. So I do have to make another tag in regions that denotes whether resources should be attempted to generate or not. So yeah. And it might be good to include the loot table of those, like, in the region data, because in here it just uses these two, like, it hard codes it. But I'd like to change that to be not hard coded. So yeah, I'll work on all that. I will run through all that and try and get it so we can fully mod regions, because I'd like to. It would be cool if you can add in new planets and stuff to Starground. So we'll get working on that. Let's figure out our issue with the blueprint stuff, because that's something we need to figure out. So Blue, welcome in. How's it going? We are working on Starground. It's my automation and dungeon crawler game. So down here, when we're grabbing the blueprint with the index, yeah, this doesn't work because Yeah, because we're going through backwards. Right? No, but it does show the index in terms of the current index, though. Odd. So why doesn't it work, then? Oh, because the index of... I see what's going on here. I need to have a different one that's like child index, right? Let's call this one child index, I think. And then what this will be is not necessarily what this is, but we're just going to create a new index, which is var index starts at 0. We set index to this, and then we say index plus equals 1. Yeah, that's what we need to do. And then just call this var index 2. Do the same thing. Chrono Trigger music, yeah. Alright, that should work now. And now instead of down here what we're doing, where we're getting the recent list at child at index, we're going to say get that at child index. So thank you for the speed, Ryan. How's it going? Ryan, welcome in. Also, I think this is wrong here, I'm realizing. Because if we're getting the child at index -1, it's going to get the last one, which is the oldest blueprint, and not the new one. So I think I have to change that to be 0, but let's load up the game and make sure. The reason it's weird is because I'm sorting the blueprint buttons in terms of, like, creation date. So the newest ones will always be at the top. At some point, I would like the ability to, like, you know, have different sort options for blueprints, but it is kind of complicated, so I'll do that at some point. Is it Zeal? What's Zeal? Okay, let's try this out. Oh, the music. I haven't played Chrono Trigger, so I'm not actually really sure, to be completely honest with you. I'm kind of a fake fan, I just like the music. But I don't know. Oops. Boom, boom. We're just gonna make a couple blueprints for our list. Alright, so now all these show up in here. You can see the newest ones are on top. Game, should play it on stream. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how I could actually, like, is it on Steam? Apparently it is. Yeah, one of these days I could grab it. Could add it to the old wish list. Yeah, it'd be cool to hear all the music and stuff playing it. Okay, so here's all our random blueprints. Do take a little bit to update that preview, but I think it's fine. It can take a while if we have like a huge blueprint, but I imagine blueprints aren't going to be that big, right? I mean, obviously this one's going to take a minute to load because it's enormous, but yeah. I wonder if I could like multi-thread the image creation process. Maybe I could. I'll have to look into that. Unpopular opinion, the Steam port is good. Yeah. It seems like usually Steam ports are mostly fine of older games and stuff. I have like the Steam version of Total Annihilation. And even though this game is super old, it's back in like the DOS. Well, I guess it's not DOS, but pretty old, like Windows 98 or no, not 98 because it's not 1998. But yeah, I have this game on Steam and it's totally normal. Like I don't have any issues with it. It's a pretty good port. It's just the game, but on Steam, so it's awesome. It is a fun game. I've always really liked Total Annihilation. I do need to play this more. It'd be fun to do a Total Annihilation stream. And then they have that new one that came out, Planetary Annihilation, which is also a pretty good game. It's... I like that it's, like, definitely got the... You know, the same core gameplay kind of thing. What is this? Industrial Annihilation? Are they making another one? Whoa. Yeah. I didn't know that this was a thing. Steam Early Access launched in 2024. Is it already out? So hey, Shadowfang, thank you for the follow. I'm not 100% knowledgeable on this. Like, I don't know how to make my Brawl TV a button like its original purpose. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure how you would do that in that engine. My Opera GX icon of the taskbar is turned red. Oh, yeah. I had to check, and it was indeed Zeal music. Okay, cool. Is that already out? Industrial Annihilation? Whoa. It's too bad it sucks. So what is it? It's a factory builder? Hold on, guys. This is crazy. That's too bad, though, that it's, that it's bad, though. That's too bad. Galactic Annihilation. Oh, well. Check Discord for context? Sure. Oh. Dude, Opera is... is angry. Yeah, I was confused because Opera GX is already red, but yeah, this is, like, scary. Something happened. All right, blueprints here. I think are good to go. Oh yeah, let's check the ordering stuff. So like, if we let's just paste a bunch of blueprint strings. It looks like it's always. It should be happening at the top though. Let's say I don't know which one is which. Here, we name it that. Copy the blueprint string. Yeah, see, it's not selecting the new one that we just added. For some reason, it's selecting it down there. So that's not right. Because it should be setting this child index thing now. Right, child index there. Unless I just need to restart the game. So I'm not sure why that doesn't work. And then I believe that this is also going to be broken when we push back a blueprint. Well, I guess technically if we're adding a blueprint... Oh, that's the name stuff. This is different. Let's try that. So if we change the name... Okay, yeah. No, I'm just stupid. So that one's working. That's just a different one. So this is whenever we are pasting a blueprint on paste accept. Yeah, now we select the one at 0. We're good there. Okay. And then let's go look at all these other ones. I think we're on the right track, though. So yeah, that's at index. That index is different from the child index, so... I think that's everything. I think there's only those 2 spots where we say get child. Yeah, so we're good to go. What if you have more lists in the window height? I have all this inside of a scroll container, so it should be fine. But we can go ahead and test that, right? So let's just paste a bunch of blueprints. Why is it still not wrapping? Oh, I don't know if I set that properly. So you can see as we get more blueprints pasted in here, now this becomes a scroll list like this, so that you can just scroll through and look at all the blueprints in here. So yeah. Obviously, you're not going to have all these blueprints be the same name, but yeah. So, works pretty well. I am going to make it, though, so that the scroll container, it'll say follow focus. So that way, like, as you're scrolling down, it will, on controller, it'll make sure that the next thing is always focused. So, like, if I scroll down here, it'll go to this one, and then, yeah. So it's a matter of pending to the end instead of the start. Yeah, I mean, the way that I'm doing this, every single time a button in here changes, I'm actually just regenerating all of the buttons. It's just better that way. So, like, if I delete a button in here, it's going to go through the entire list and now update everything so that they get, like, reorganized. But yeah. That could potentially be a performance issue in the far future if somebody has, like, a lot of blueprints, but it would have to be like an insane number because all this is just a button node, right? Buttons are pretty low performance impact, so I doubt that's going to be an issue for a while. The only lag that you would get from a blueprint is like clicking on one like that's huge, like this one, because this is literally my entire factory as a blueprint. So obviously it's going to be a little slow to render, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. People aren't going to be doing this, you know? And technically it still works even if you do, but most of the time you're probably just going to copy like a little layout, like something like this, and be like, bam, hey guys, here's my little farm layout. And then send that to people, you know, here. Name it little farm or something. Now you can copy it and send it. I would like another button in here that's like, it'll be like a add to saved button when it's in the recent list, so I'll probably do that. But yeah. And then we can build a little farm. You can see there's no performance lag with... Ooh, I clicked on the big one. The performance on Little Farm is pretty good. Anyways, let me read what's in here. Don't you dare calling yourself stupid. That's your committee's job. That's true, that's true. Oh yeah, you do have a farm set up, the Pokeball. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Well, now you can actually name it Pokeball. You can go in here and name it the Pokeball. Pokeball farm. There you go. Have I played Endgame Factorio? Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I know people do. I mean, but I don't think Starground really will ever get to the scale of Factorio. I know that... I don't know. It's really hard to optimize for something like the scale of Factorio. It kind of gets to a point where it's a little infeasible for me to implement or like to optimize things enough to run smoothly at that scale. So I'm really focusing more on ways that we can make the game fun and interesting without having to build the biggest factory ever. And I think one of the cool ways of doing that is to have multiple planets that you go to, because it really does give you this grander sense of scale in the solar system of like having all these different bases, but it's not too insane. I mean, Starground is not Factorio. Some people want it to be, where you build these enormous, huge factories that go on forever, but it's just not. I just can't do that. I'm only one person optimizing everything, so. Maybe one day, once we get around to doing the conveyors as a tile set, the game will run fast enough to be able to do stuff like that, but not yet. I'm not gonna count on it, so. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen in Starground. I mean, it might happen, but it's not intentional, at least. Sounded Pokeball? I know. I'll delete it, fine. Bye, farm. Alright. Cool. Then we just need one more button in here for, like, favoriting, which I'll probably just put in the middle between these two. So just paste it in here. And this will be the save button. Can you get attacked in your base? No, you cannot. Although that might change for the last automation planet, so stay tuned, guys. But yeah, no, Starground doesn't have any enemies that show up in your base. The whole idea behind Starground is that it's like the automation is kind of a chill thing, and if you want to deal with enemies and fight bad guys, then you can go delve into the dungeons, you know. So yeah. Maybe one day I might have a game mode or something where enemies attack, but we'll see. That'll be a later on thing. So now I'm gonna have a process event here. I've managed to do all this without process event, but you know what? That's enough. I'm gonna say save dot visible is equal to our tab container dot current tab is equal to 0. Okay. Now we're also going to make sure that the current tab when you first open this is always on ready. Or always on 0, not ready. On recent, I meant. Okay. There we go. All right, that's all set up. I think we're pretty much good to go here. Let's see. So let's go ahead and just implement the code for this save button now. And we're just going to say whenever we press save, if selected button, we're going to say selected, or we're going to say recent list dot remove child selected button, and then say saved list dot add child selected button. It should already be configured with all its settings and everything. And then what we're gonna say is up here, we will change our current tab. So we're gonna say current tab, oops. Oh no, that's fine. Now it's equal to 1. And adding it as a child, we have to add at a specific index. Oh yeah, also we have to say global.recent blueprints.remove at, and then the index of selected button.get meta index. Oh, I guess we don't have to actually add and remove. We'll just do this. And then we'll say saved blueprints dot pushback. Can I say pop? Yeah, pop at. Then we just do this. So that'll remove it from the recent blueprints and then add it to the save blueprints. Now we're gonna say update buttons. Do our current tab. And also what I'm gonna do is then now say, since it's the newest entry in our recent blueprints, we're gonna say saved list dot get child at index 0 dot grab focus, and also we're gonna say select blueprint at this one. That already grabs focus and stuff for us, so yeah. I think we'll be good to go with that. Let's try it out though. We'll have to restart the game. So that save button will only be visible in the recents list. I'm not gonna make it so you can convert saved thing or saved blueprints back into a recent. It just doesn't make any sense. So you can just delete it if you want to get it out of your saved list, I figured. Then we'll get started on all the other things, assuming that this is stable and good to go. I need to figure out what this fusion core thing is. What is fusion core? Fusion core is a Windows file store platform manager and is a part of Windows. So I do not want to get rid of fusion core. Yeah, because it's in Windows. It's in my Windows folder, so I don't know. All right, let's attempt this. So saved. We're good. On recent now, it also shows our little save button. So we select a thing on recent, we hit save, and now boom, it's over here in our save blueprints. Nice. Oh, but that's funny. We need to fix that. If I go back into the recent tab or whatever, I need to deselect what I have here. So I need to say tab changed. Well, I guess with that then I can change how this works. I don't need the process event anymore. So this is a pretty performant menu. It doesn't have any process event. So it basically does nothing until you actually go into it. So that's cool. Alright. So tab container changed. We're gonna go ahead and say save.visible is equal to tab is equal to 0. And then we're also gonna say in here select blueprint null. Let's try this out. Oh, right, we have to restart the game because signals don't get connected live. Super funny. We're gonna have to put a lot of new translation keys into the game. So we'll get working on that. don't know this song. This song's cool and all, the one playing now, but it gets way too loud and way too intense for the stream. So I think I'm gonna take it out. I do apologize to Bobby. It's a good song. It's just not the vibe. Like, it's fine initially, but then it goes really crazy. So, all right. Alrighty. So I think we're good to go. Yeah, so it'll like unselect the thing now. Also, save for some reason is valid. We had to fix that. It's just down in here and not button pressed over here. We just have to also say, hey, save button. So then down here, disabled is true. Let's check that. There we go. So now we copy a blueprint. It's in our recent. Boom. Build. Boom. Okay, there's only one other thing that I think we need to do inside of our menu, and then I literally think that we're finally done. Which is that our conveyors on here are not rotating properly, same with our movers. So I think it's a pretty easy fix. We just got to do what we did in our blueprinting thing, and then we're done. So let's just go do that really quick. So I'd like to get that done. And also thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. So we do that in here. It's down in this calculate images thing. Which I'm thinking about what I could do for this is just straight up like make this like a global function or something. Typo in the wind turbine description? Oh, is there? Let's go take a look at that. I need to pin this translations screen, dude. Let me pin that. Okay, let's go look at the wind turbine key. Generates energy from the wind. Is it fluctuating? Did I just spell it wrong? Is it fluct with a T? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for noticing that. I didn't even realize that fluctuating at a T. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I still have to add a couple more keys, I think, to the translation sheet, so... But that's okay. We will, do that when we need to. I gotta fill in all these. I'm using Google Translate. I know it's bad for some of these keys because we don't really have an active translator for them. And I've had issues in the past where players from China get very angry if there's any missing keys. So Opus gets translated from Polish. Oh yeah. From Polish? Yeah. Where is that one? Opus. This is Polish, right? Description. Oh wait, that's not the right one. Wait, what? Where's the Opus key? Oh, do I not have a key for Opus yet? Oh, whoops. let's do that. I do? Yeah, I thought I did. Where? I'm searching for Opus, but I only see the platform one. Description is what it... Oh, in general? Oh. Opus. Yeah, should these be translated like this? I don't know. I'm not sure what it's like translating to. Yeah. It should probably also just be Opus here, because, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have like a translation. Unless it does, but I don't think it does. So I'll probably just rename this to Opus. Is that what you're talking about? How it's like translating it to something? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's translating to description, which is weird. Okay, thanks for letting me know. But yeah, I meant I need a key for the description of Opus, because I don't think we have one yet. So I will say this is... one more NPC dialogue and logs. I'd like to soon. Next update's gonna be... it's gonna have questing, and so that's gonna be a huge, like, thing with NPC dialogue. So... yeah. And also, I'm sure we'll add in some more logs with that, too. It's gonna be the third dungeoning planet. I don't know what exactly we're gonna do for the third dungeoning planet quite yet, so we have to think about that. But I don't know. If anyone has ideas for another dungeon, let me know. We might do something like a ice planet or something. I have no idea. I would like something that's like white themed, because we've got a lot of colors, but not like neutral tones like white and black. So that'd be cool to have. A marsh could be cool. Yeah, I don't know exactly yet, but definitely think about it, guys, if you have ideas. Also, why is this saying it's translating B7? Oh, is it just cut off? I can't see that. Yeah, okay. I was like, why is it like 2 characters? 2 words. It's not it. Yeah, thank you for the hydrate. Okay, so Opus. A windy gas giant with dangerous thunderstorms. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Maybe instead of dangerous, I say raging thunderstorms. Yeah. Because that's cooler. Okay. So anyways, back to what I was doing here. I kind of want to change this function, this calculate images thing, to be different. I think I'm going to make this a global function. I've added so many new functions to the mod API, it's crazy. Yeah, that stuff's all at the end. So this is going to be calculate blueprint images. And we're just going to pass in buildings. And var images will be that. Yeah. Now we're going to say for I in buildings, building data sprite, array. And then this gets our rotation, checks all that stuff. The images, it rotates the sprites properly, and then it passes back sprite in position. Okay, cool. So now we can use that function in both inside of our blueprinter and inside of our blueprint preview, so that we can make sure we're always getting the correct kind of images pushed back. So in here, I'm gonna say images.clear global dot calculate blueprint images. Also, I'm gonna say, as long as that's not empty, then I'm gonna say pass in blueprint buildings. And then I'm just gonna say images is equal to that. All right. See, now we don't need this generate image preview thing anymore either. Well, I guess I can still use this, but then what we'll do instead is this. Instead of generating all this manually, we will global dot generate calculate blueprint images, and then we're just going to pass in blueprint at index buildings. Oh, and so I guess we'll still do this stuff. It's just that this will give us like our data, right? So var data is that. And now we're just going to say for I in data. Now, instead of all that garbage, we're just going to say data.position. So this should now be consistent. Oh, I was building data, not oopsies. Let's just change that to building data. Oh, well, that's not really the same thing. Just change that to I. Not to I. Change that back to data. Change that to I. Okay. So let's see if this works. It should now be rotating the conveyors and everything and doing it properly. It's not happy. I in data. Oh, I'm not returning anything here. I'm stupid. Whoopsies. Return images. That would be why, guys. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's see here, guys. Let's see if this works. If it does, then I think we are golden. Golden Freddy. Then we can get around to some of the other little things I wanted to add, and we should be good to go. Whoa. It just works, guys. Look at that. They're all lined up properly. So yeah, I'm glad I did that, because now we have nice clean code. We're using the same like image generation function for both the actual preview like this and for our blueprint preview too. So it means that if I down the line implement like conveyor cornering and stuff like that, it means it'll apply to both without me having to mess around. So that's good. Does this place it with a diagonal rotation? It does. It's so cursed. It's just, it's definitely something. Is it throwing errors in here? Okay, no, it's just that one. I need to change this connect thing. I'm gonna just call it status. Okay. I don't know, that's losing precision. Whatever. Oh yeah, also this doesn't need delta. So type is declared but never used. Oh yeah, I guess we aren't using it, huh? Because now we're just saying grab blueprints. We don't need that anymore. Just started, I'm hooked already? Well, that's great to hear. Thank you. Alright, let's try this out. So we should be good to go. Got recent blueprints, boom, or save blueprints. Awesome. So now, guys, we can actually, like, save our blueprints and stuff. Also, this is something I would like to fix, is that when we're inside of a UI, we're still able to open up our tool wheel. I mean, it's not technically a problem, but it just seems wrong, you know? Also, apparently it doesn't do it on the inventory, right? So I think I'm gonna change that. On tool wheel, I probably just have a thing up here that says if we can open it. Yeah, right here. Instead of saying if our UI inventory, I'm just gonna say if owner.UI open. So let's just save that and we should be good to go. Yeah. So now when we're in blueprints and research in our building menu, it doesn't activate our tool wheel anymore. So that's good. Bam! Blueprint. All right. So moving along. We do need to add some more fundamental, like, things that get saved to our blueprints, like the ability to save recipes and stuff like that, right? Because I'd like to be able to do that. Where if you have a crafter that has, like, a copper wire recipe and you blueprint it, when you place that back down, it will still be the wire recipe. Because I think that's definitely important with blueprints. So let's do that. It's pretty easy. I mean, we just go into blueprint as we're copying it over our info right here, right? This is where we're gonna do it. So we're setting the data. This is where we actually do the things for each building. So this is where I'll just check, like, see, rotation is all that. Let's do this down here. And say this is data. Is that? And push back data. So now I'm gonna say If building is recipe building, then we know that it has a recipe selected. And then I'm gonna say data at index recipe is equal to building dot. I think it's a new recipe is the one we need to save. Let's go double check that. So like something in the crafter. We can just see what gets saved in the save component, and that's basically it. Yeah, progress and new recipe. So obviously we're not going to save progress, but we'll save new recipe. So yeah. And I might actually just do this. Saved vars. It will just be an array. And then all we say is just data at saved vars dot pushback. Although the issue is that I won't know what the name of the variable is. So I'm gonna have to have this be like a dictionary with two things. So we'll have a name. It's going to be new recipe. And then value is that. So that'll give us a lot of freedom with what we actually want to save in here. And then we can just say when we place this stuff back down, loop through saved vars and make sure that it's all set. So yeah. Start it out, just knocking stuff down, gather materials. Yeah. Epic. Okay, so let's see here. Pushback, the name, and the value. We have the saved variables array. Okay. I mean, that should all be good to go, I think. So now let's go back to our placing area where we do like create building or whatever, build object. We have this data thing that we pass in. So I might just include that alongside that. Of course, I lost my blueprint script. I really hate how the back button works in Godot. It doesn't go back to the last script you were on. Like if I click that and then click back, it just doesn't go to the same one. So I don't know why it's stupid like that. Maybe what it's doing is that it's just going through here or something. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Is there a way to change that behavior in the editor settings? Oh, excuse me, guys. Single window mode. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Save on focus loss. Oh, that's interesting. So I can make it save whenever the editor loses focus. Actually, I probably wouldn't want to do that, though. Import resource when unfocused. Interesting. Self-help plus, thank you. Multi-window. Connection stuff. Completion. Yeah, I don't know if there's really a way to do that, which is too bad. This is version control. Oh. Buffering. Directory naming convention. That's not the way that I do that. Project name is directory name. I worry about changing that because it might break everything, so we'll wait on that. Well, I don't know. I don't see any way to change that behavior, so that's too bad. It's just annoying. So anyways, we have data in here, and we could pass in more data here. So we could pass in saved vars, which will be building data, or it'd be building? Yeah, building dot saved vars. That way we can use it on build object. So if we just scroll down, right before we say add child, we can loop through. This is checking all our stuff. So right here, we can say for I in data, build data. I'll just say if build data dot get saved vars, or do this. And then we say if saved vars for I in saved vars, we say obj at I dot name is equal to I dot value. So it's just a quick little easy thing that we can do. And then if we go down here before we add it here too. Boom. Alright, so that should be nice. I think it'll work. I don't think we do add child anywhere else. Okay. So let's try that out. Should work. Let's restart the game because it's probably going to be funny and quirky. So. All right. Then yeah, this should now theoretically save our recipe, our selected recipe. But we'll see. Okay, so let's create a blueprint. Here, let's do this test. So let's just go copy over a crafter. Boom. We're going to set our recipe on our crafter to rotor. Create a blueprint. Pop it down. Whoa. It's still a rotor, guys. So it works. Now when you have a blueprint saved, it will also remember what recipes are selected in the building. So that's pretty nice. Not bad at all. Yeah. Now there is also one potential issue. Is like if you save a recipe of something you haven't researched yet, you know what I mean? And then you place down the blueprint with that thing that isn't researched. It's also the same issue with like the actual building itself too, as if our building isn't unlocked yet. So we may have to double check on that. I need to make like a function that just passes in an ID of something and then checks if it's locked or not, you know? That's what I really need to do. Because then, like, before I run stuff like that, I can say, is crafter unlocked? And of course it will be. And I can run that through, like, I'll probably do that on the ready event of the recipe building, because that's, like, a specific thing for the recipe in here, or whatever's selected. But, yeah. Okay. But it's cool that that works, though. I might even also make it do that on, you know, when you middle-click a building, and it copies it? Maybe I also copy over the data from the building. So like it'll store the selected recipe. Also, we're gonna have to get that set up for mover filters, stuff like that. We'll just have to keep slowly working on all those different things for buildings. I don't think there's that many. It's really mainly just the recipe buildings. And then also, yeah, that should work on every single type of recipe building. So like if we do the Voltrum ingot, and then we do it. Yeah, it's still selected, so pretty easy. So recipe buildings basically includes almost everything. We have our crafter, our foundry, furnace doesn't have recipe, refiner, anything that has a recipe selection screen works. So that's a good start. Just kind of looking through our different buildings to see what else would need to be copied. Definitely the space elevator is gonna need some work. Otherwise, I think that's it. I think it's, I mean, there is the speaker, I guess. So I'll probably work on that too. I'm not gonna worry about that right now, though. How do controls work in copying? So, this change, like the blueprint stuff, isn't in the game yet. So there's no way to, like, copy things yet. Yeah, and I don't have that implemented yet. Also, the being able to shift right click and then shift left click to another building. But I do want to implement that. I think I'm going to do that right now, because that's actually one of the things I have on my list. Right, is that, like, copying and pasting on buildings. So that's what we're going to do. Control click to grab from buildings, and then we're also going to have shift right and left to copy paste recipe, because I'd like to be able to do that. I was just curious. Yeah, no, I definitely want to add, like, just those little quality of life things. It's a very minor thing, but it definitely makes a difference, right? Being able to do that. So I'm probably gonna do it. Love you're doing, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever have, like, you know, things like that, oh, hey, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. That's crazy. Or confetti actually worked. Oh, shoot, that's a tier 3 sub. Sheesh. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. That's crazy. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Man. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I was gonna say, if you have any, like, you can now dance. Remember Dance Party, guys? Remember that? Where I would get up and dance around. Man. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I was saying, if you ever have, like, little quality of life things like that that you feel like is missing from the game, just let me know. Because I'm always trying to add that stuff in. Just some little patches here and there and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, I'm probably gonna work on, what I would like is control click to grab all the items from your building. And then, it would be shift right click to copy and shift left click to paste into a building, so. We do have a form on the Discord server, which I'll show you right now. Over here, it's the suggestions and issues form, and you can make posts on here. So, like, for example, add rotors into the wind turbine recipe, which I think is a good idea. So yeah, you're welcome to load this up with suggestions and stuff. It's nice to do it on Discord because everybody has Discord. And it's easy for me to just like mark it off and also just to have discussions on here and stuff, right? I mean, Trello's cool, but it's like, it's not really the best place to like have a conversation with somebody about something, right? So I think this is why Discord's kind of great for this sort of thing. So yeah. Yeah, totally welcome to join that if you want. I also have, what is this? I think it's a crafter. I need to fix blueprints being 0 size, because it's annoying. I did actually add the little Discord button to the game. That goes to the Discord server, so... yeah, that works now. Oh, that's our invite banner thing? That's epic. I didn't realize. Oh no, I'm exposing my secrets, my testing polls from last December. Okay. What's what? This stuff in here? I was just testing how polls worked in Discord. Yeah, I was just making sure because I didn't want to put up a poll and then look like an idiot and accidentally do it wrong. So I would like to put more polls up in here. I do have an idea for an interesting research soon, which would be basically a research that makes movers no longer have collision. So I think that could be interesting for the final automation planet because it's going to be all about quantum technology. And so we could call it something like quantum tunneling where you can walk through the movers. You're like quantum tunneling. I think that'd be cool. Because I'd like to have research that improves like your maneuverability around your factory. So, or maybe we even have it in tiers where like all of the buildable buildings, you know, become walkable. That would be pretty crazy. It would look weird, but yeah. Yeah, it's basically just no clipping, so. But yeah, I probably won't do every single building. I'll just do like a couple of specific ones, like maybe Tesla coils and movers. Just because they're like little accessory buildings, right? I think it'd be nice. You always test stuff. This is a test of man named Stanley. Yeah, that's epic. Okay. Well, our blueprinting stuff is good. We can copy recipes now in the blueprints, which is epic. We still need to copy like the filters and everything, but you know, I'm gonna work on that later because I really need to get started on the other stuff. We're almost at 3 hours already, so I'm gonna say other blueprint variables. I'm gonna say mover filters, space elevator stuff, and eventually speaker settings. So yeah, I think those are the only things that need to get saved with the blueprint. Now also, unfortunately, there is a problem here with blueprinting. And let me show you what that is. So if you go to the Space Hub, and you blueprint this, it'll work. And it'll let you blueprint it'll let you blueprint things you're not supposed to. Like the fountain. And the vending machine. So I have to fix that. It's a pretty easy fix. I just have to make sure that buildings that are marked as hidden can't be blueprinted. It is kind of really funny. It's so cursed because I have now I just have this blueprint in my blueprints list. Maybe I'll make one just for fun and then save it. Just because of how cursed it is. I'll just save this one and call it cursed. It's just funny. But yeah, it's not supposed to happen. For obvious reasons. Also, blueprinting is letting me place things down in the space hub, which is not supposed to happen. Finally, portable stock market, yeah. Maybe one day I'll add some kind of research or something for a portable stock market, yeah. It would be cool if you just like click a little button in your inventory or something and it opens up the stock market. Like a galactic trade terminal. You know, like in a No Man's Sky, the galactic trade terminals. These things, and you can like build your own in your bases and ships and stuff. Like this thing. So maybe I'll actually implement that as a real feature one day. Ability to access it from anywhere. Well, not anywhere. It would be like, you know, you can place it down on your automation planets or whatever. So yeah. I think an easy solution to this is just make it so you can't blueprint stuff while you're in the space hub. You have to be on an automation planet. And honestly, that kind of makes sense anyways. And then I don't have to worry about the blueprinting stuff. So let's just go do that. So we're just going to say down here, blueprinter active is that, and global.region current region dot type is equal to mod API dot region dot automation. So now that should disable you from being able to use your blueprints anymore. What? Current region dot type. Oh, I think it's called region type or something. Let's check that. There we go. Yeah, now you can't blueprint here anymore, so that's probably for the best. Okay. Anyways, back to here. Cursed. So cursed. All right. Let's also fix the blueprint stuff, like how it doesn't show the right icon, and then also this is weird and everything. I think we just do that inside of the tool wheel. I think it's because the icon that I'm setting on this down here is actually still just the fishing rod. It's not though, so that's interesting. Well, no, yeah, it's definitely the blueprint. I guess it's just inside of the player when I'm selecting that tool. Let's just search in here, sub selected tools equal to 2. Do I mention fishing rod in here? Tool wheel, that's that one. Here it is. Image slot textures. Here, instead of saying if is authority on all these, why don't I just say that? And actually just this too. There we go. Okay. Charge is true. I think that'll be fine. This happens on both. Okay. So now I can just say elif is 2. It's fishing rod, else. Set it to the blueprint. So that should fix our icon in the hotbar now. Yeah, there we go. Now it actually shows the blueprint. All right, cool. And then the only other thing I want to do is make it so our hand is actually the blueprint. Because right now our hand is just invisible. Because we don't have anything set for that, so... Should be pretty easy, though. I think I can search hand or something in here. Where's the code where I do that stuff, right? Set hotbar or weapon sprite. It's in here somewhere. It's where I'm setting it all to visible as false. Oh yeah, set tool visibility stuff. Here it is. So we just need to change this. Yeah, and then it's just a case. So 3 is gonna be laser, blueprint, hand. Pretty easy. So paste is a sibling. Call this blueprint hand. I think I already created the asset for this. Let's go find blueprint hand. There we go. Set that to be visible, and then up here, just make sure it's not visible. Let's go make sure that works. We're gonna have to restart the game because I added a new node. I could have gone to the main menu or something, but yeah. Alrighty. Now we got to wait for the game to open. Alright, let's go try this out. So this should show the blueprints in our hand now. And we'll see if it's quirky. It might be. No, that looks pretty good. How is it doing that? It changed the color. Or I guess it's because I duplicated the sprite from another one of the things. So it just kind of works. It's kind of interesting. Although it's a little weird that the hand isn't flipping horizontally. Right? Why is that not working? I probably have some code somewhere, like in process, where it forces it to flip. Main sprite.hit. We don't really need that anymore, do we? Now we just use the modulate thing. I should get rid of that. I don't even have the main sprite hit thing, do I? I do, I guess. Okay. Weird. That's the only flip H's?
Hey Chip. I've been thinking of another game idea. Again, what do you think of this introduction? Your party has arrived at the location. On the way, your 5 folly used up almost all of the supplies. They are expected to live at least 15 days here, to prove the usability of the land. Create a place for your folly by providing food, drinks, beds, and more. And, if you survive, maybe some migrants will arrive.
That sounds a lot like Dwarf Fortress. Isn't it? Is that... I'm sorry. But yeah, I think it works. Yeah, it'll work. What's the game idea this time? So is it just gonna be like is it gonna be like a colony builder thing? Like kind of like Dwarf Fortress? Visual novel? Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't see a whole lot of visual novel stuff these days. Where am I flipping the... Oh, it's here. I found it. All right. How's the journey been making this game? It's definitely been something. I've learned a lot about Godot and honestly just kind of programming in general, making Starground. This is the first time I've ever done modding and stuff like that. So it's definitely been an interesting challenge to implement all that, but it's been super useful. There's been plenty of times where I've lost all hope and I run into horrible, terrible bugs and everything sucks, but it's always like that. That's just how it goes sometimes. But I feel like that happens less and less as time goes on. But yeah, it's definitely been something. It's a lot of work, you know, making a game, especially a game like Starground, because it's just such a big open-ended beast at this point, you know? It's no longer just this funny little quirky automation game. But it's good though. You know, I'm glad that I've worked on Starground. It's also the first game that's actually been like commercially successful. I did release Pogo Rocket on Steam a while ago, but it failed pretty bad. And there's a lot of reasons for that. A big part of it was that I did zero marketing or anything, so nobody even knew that the game existed. And I think it was just like, I don't know, there's a lot of design decisions that were kind of bad with this game. And it's also a platformer. Platformers are extremely oversaturated on Steam. So I think it's just, I didn't really think about the industry of game stuff too much, right? And that was part of the issue. I mean, there's a lot of issues with Pogo Rocket. I also used Game Maker, which was a nightmare. Man. But yeah. I mean, Pogo Rocket was a good experience, though. It definitely helped me like make Starground a much better game than it would have been otherwise, just because of all the things I've learned from that. I mean, game development is hard, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of times developing games where everything just sucks and it's not fun. But I think game development is just about getting past those parts and getting into the fun parts and reflecting back and, you know, seeing what you've managed to pull off. So, but yeah. I presume you're talking about Starground, but yeah, I don't know. I want to make it so the blueprints can go backwards, because I'm tired of how this is, where I have to go from the top left corner. So it's going to be a visual novel with actual gameplay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that could be cool. What's the, like, setting and stuff? I presume it's like, if that's your actual intro, then it's like medieval. With blueprints, can you rotate? Rotating is weird with blueprints because it's like, not everything has rotation. Like, for example, let's grab a building that's like this, like the refiner. If I try and rotate this building, I can't, because I don't have a version of this building that's rotated on the side like that. So it would just be really, I don't know. It's kind of a mess. That's why Factorio doesn't have rotatable blueprints, because it's extremely complicated. You'd have to have a variant for every rotated building, and that would be a lot of work. I could do flipping, like horizontal flipping and stuff, you know, where you could hit H while you have the blueprint up and it like flips the building positions. Which that's possible too. Maybe I'll do that. We don't have any like input and output dependent stuff, so I think I could do that just fine. I'll have to think about it, but I think it'll work. Also, I need to test what happens with these underground belts, because I think there's a bug. Well, not necessarily a bug, but... Oh, that's... Oh. What? Maybe there is a bug. Uh-oh. What's going on? What happened to underground conveyors? I didn't know that this was a thing. What? How come that can only be sideways? Oh, I think I broke it when I changed the rotation stuff. Okay, we're gonna fix that. I think what it is that it's like checking the wrong rotation against the starting one, so it thinks that it's like weird. I also need to save whether a underground conveyor is... Yeah, corner conveyors. It's so cursed. Although, is that... No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, technically it would work, but it's not what I want. So I'm gonna fix that. Also, sorry, let me make sure I didn't miss anything in here. I'd love to talk about the business side of things one of these days with copyrights, what to pay attention to and all that jazz, yeah. I mean, really, copyright stuff isn't too big of a hassle. Like, at least copyright infringement. Like, I never really worry about infringing on copyright, and the reason for that is that I make everything myself. So there's never any, like, concern of infringement, right? Because it's all my own assets, and I own the copyright to all of them. So, but yeah, I did like apply for an actual like US copyright and stuff. Yeah, audio, I mean, it's the only thing with audios, I just always make sure when I'm taking any audio from online, I'm only grabbing audio that's Creative Commons 0. And the reason for that is because Creative Commons 0 basically is no rights reserved. It's almost essentially the same as a public domain. So Winpricks, thank you for the follow. So it just lets anybody use it. So yeah. You can read through this whole thing, but the gist of it is that you can use this like, you're allowed to redistribute them, you can modify it, you can sell it, whatever. You can basically do whatever you want with CC0. So yeah. So I use Freesound for grabbing sounds and stuff whenever I need a sound, and they have the ability to sort by license, which is actually super useful. I'm already sorting by here, but at the top here you can only sort by sounds that are under Creative Commons 0. So let's say for some reason or something in some universe where one of these sounds weren't actually CC0, that would be like Freesound's fault, you know? Because they are labeling these things as CC0. If I get in trouble for that, then that's ridiculous. I would sue them, you know? But yeah, I can be pretty confident in knowing that anything under the CC0 label is going to be free for me to use. So yeah, that's what I always do for sounds, just because there's other licenses that you can use. It doesn't have to be CC0. There's also ones like Attribution and Sampling Plus, whatever that is. But honestly, I don't want to mess with that, you know? There's certain rules around those ones where you have to like make sure that they're credited and the credits and stuff like that. And I just don't want to, I don't want to mess with all that. So I just only sort by CC0. Here's a, yeah, can someone remove their CC0 license? I don't think legally they can. Once you license something under CC0, then you are essentially giving up your rights to that work. So I don't think that you can do that. That would be pretty crazy if you could do that. I bet Freesound doesn't allow you to change the license anyways. Because that wouldn't make any sense then. You could make it CC0 and then all of a sudden make it back to rights reserved and then everybody gets sued. Like, that would be insane if that's how that worked. But I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure this license or whatever the license is applied to it is the license that like you're using the moment you download it, right? So even if it changes at some point, it's kind of like, let's say, or something that Godot, right? Godot is open source, it's MIT license. If one day it went to whatever, the reserved license or something, it won't, it can't, but just in this hypothetical scenario, the version of Godot that you have downloaded is still under the MIT license. So it's not like you can just willy-nilly go ahead and change the license on people. That's like, you know, you can change the license on a new thing, an offshoot of it, or a new sound altogether, but I don't think legally you can change the license on. I mean, it's different if like, yeah, I mean, I'm not like a lawyer, so I don't know every little in and out of everything on this stuff, but at least that's my general understanding of how that would work. Just realized you can use the hand miner thing to mine things. Oh yeah, I added that because it's just convenient. Being able to like pick up items with your mining laser is pretty nice. Also, we got an ad coming up. My apologies about that. Yeah, I'm down to keep talking about this copyright stuff and like the business stuff if you want, because I think it's really helpful for people. Especially like for people that want to make that jump from just hobby stuff to like making money off of this, right? You have to know about how to actually do the business stuff because it's necessary. Like, how do you form an LLC and pay your taxes and stuff, right? So, but yeah. The item pickup using laser was added to items and falling. Oh yeah, that was one of the reasons too, because if you break something in the water, it's not really much of an issue now that you can build a boat, but it used to be that oil rigs, when I added them way back in the day, if you'd put them out in the ocean like that and then break it, your items are stuck out there forever. These days, we just put a boat down and go get it, but now you can just pick up the items again. The stack size is 99 for most items. There's a couple of items that aren't 99. Artifacts are 1, so you can only have 1 of those. Basically, it's just for items that like are powerful, and it doesn't make any sense to stack them. Yeah, coin stack to 198, and then I have land tiles. Those stack to 999. Because you need to place a lot of them, and it's annoying if your entire inventory is filled with land tiles. So, yeah, you'll unlock the ability to modify terrain later once you go to Tyria and stuff. Yeah, you can see that stacking higher in my inventory. Yeah, no problem at all. Happy to help. And yeah, like Oshik said, buildings have stack size multipliers. So like, yeah, the vault building has a pretty huge stack size modifier. So you can store like almost 2,000 items in one slot of the vault, as you can see, right? And it's the same with a couple other things. The workbench actually has the inverse, the tool bench. It has a stack size modifier of 0. So you can only put 1 item in these slots. You're not allowed to put multiple because it wouldn't make any sense. So yeah. Okay, let's see. I want to figure out how we can make this blueprint thing go backwards, right? Because right now it can only go down to the bottom right. For some reason, it doesn't want to go to the top left. I don't know if that's just something I forced or what, but let's go look at the code and see why that happens that way. It might be because I can't set a negative size on my 9 patch rect, and that's gonna be my guess. So I may have to change like the code stuff in here. We'll see. So we can say as long as the size of this is larger or whatever, then we're fine. That's if we released our clicking, so we're not going to worry about that. But then up here, as we're dragging. So this is where we're doing it. We're saying drag end minus drag start. We're just going to say if drag end minus drag start is less than 0, do a thing, otherwise do it that way. And this is where we're instead going to say that dot position is equal to drag end. And then we also set size. Like that. And I think that'll work. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to say if drag, let's see how we do this. I might just do this on the individual components. So I'll just say here var selection size is that. Normally that'll be, the size of this will always be equal to our selection size thing. And I'm actually going to make selection size an absolute value so that we don't end up with a negative size. Now we're going to say if selection size dot x is less than 0, then we're going to say position dot x is drag end dot x, otherwise position x is 0. And run up the same thing with the y position. This might break all of our blueprints, so we'll have to see what happens with this, but let's see. Also, ads are over, everybody. Sorry about that. Oh. Okay, that doesn't work. So it seems like the position of this is not being changed, which is odd. Oh, that's because we made it absolute. This just needs to be ABS selection size, but we don't necessarily want that to be the same. Okay. So let's try that. So kind of works, but you can see the position offsetting stuff here is wild. I'm not sure what's going on with that. It's like it's moving over to that other spot. Interesting. We'll keep messing with this. So, let's see here. Just drag end. I think that's the issue here, is that we need to say to local on drag end. Because otherwise it's going to be like the global position, which won't work. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that, guys. So now we can just select up to the top left. Now you can see there's still issues here. We have to readjust the global position and everything, but I think this will work. I like being able to just select any box. It feels very arbitrary to only be able to drag to the bottom right, so. And our blueprints from the top left still work just fine. But yeah, we need to make it so we can drag up to the top left. And the way we do that is just make it so that our global position is the thing moving. So I think we can do that. And then we don't even need to set the position stuff here. So So then all we're going to say is global position.x is equal to get global mouse position. And same with that. Now, I don't know if that's going to work. We have to experiment and see. But... oh, see, that's... it's a little quirky. I don't know why it's up in the corner like that, right? Ooh. Weird. Were all your games released under the LLC? Yeah, so Starground, I mean, you can see it's released under Big Boy Games. Initially, Big Boy Games used to be a sole proprietorship, but I decided to upgrade it to an LLC for a lot of reasons. The first was just taxes. It's... well, I guess the biggest reason with upgrading to an LLC is like the legal separation between you and the company, right? I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of legal liability, especially since I'm careful about like where I'm getting my assets from and everything. It would be unlikely for me to ever get sued. Obviously, it's not impossible, but having Starground like as a part of the company instead, it kind of protects me as an individual, right? The corporate veil. It reduces my like personal liabilities for like issues with the game and the company and stuff. So that's one good reason to make an LLC. And also, yeah, another thing too with it is like, I think there is tax benefits because as an LLC, first off, you can like, it lets you do stuff like create a business account and receive payments, and it's just better to do it that way most of the time. Also, I believe that I get more deductions as an LLC versus a sole proprietor. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I'm not like an accountant, but my accountant recommended creating an LLC versus a sole proprietorship because there's a lot of multiple reasons too. I would say usually I would recommend doing it. I mean, there's other countries don't have LLCs. It's like an American thing, but I think you could do like an LTD, I think is the same thing, basically, as an LLC. It just means limited company. There's a bunch of different kinds of company structures. Once I start to make too much money, I would probably change away from an LLC and change into an S-Corp. Because then I won't get... yeah, it's not like a C-Corp where you get double taxation on both corporate income and then your own personal salary. But... it, I think it would prevent me from having to pay self-employment tax. And self-employment tax is brutal. It's like another 15% on top of my regular income taxes. And so I have to pay a lot in taxes. Because I have to pay, like, my usual income tax, which it varies. I think last year I paid, like, 20% or something. And then that's just a straight up 15% on top of that, including, like, my social security taxes and everything. So my tax rates start to get really insane with self-employment. An S-Corp... it's not worth it right now because I think with an S-Corp there's other kinds of taxes I would have to pay, and so it doesn't make sense to be an S-Corp until you make like over 100,000 a year or something. But eventually I'm probably going to switch over to that. So, say Terra 2012, welcome in. Doing all this bare bones, or is there like payroll software you use? Yeah, I mean, so the way that it's kind of configured now, I'm a single member LLC. And so that means that all of my taxes and stuff I have to pay are just passed through to the my personal taxes. And it's a lot easier for me that way because I don't have to like keep track of individual expenses as like a larger company would have to. Because I think when you're not a non-single member LLC, well, you have to do payroll, which is really complicated. You'd also have to, yeah, I think you have to report on your expenses and stuff too, which can get really complicated. Because also, since it's like, it's just me, it's so like intertwined between my personal expenses and income and stuff, it's really hard to separate it. Self-employment tax rate includes Social Security and Medicare? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember exactly like what all the percentages and stuff. I mean, honestly, I don't calculate it myself because that's like what my accountant does. So I don't really exactly know, but I mean, I have all my documents and stuff that I could check on for my last year taxes, so I could check, but yeah, I'd have to double check on that. But okay, you're self-employed contractor. Okay, cool. Yeah, I also pay the same as me, yeah. Okay. But yeah, I usually just, that's what my accountant is for handling all the complexities of paying my taxes. I mean, obviously I keep track of my income and stuff because that's what I need to report on for my individual taxes, how much money I made. But, yeah. So yeah, I don't do any, like, payroll stuff yet. Eventually I might, well, I will have to if I move to an S Corp, because then like the way I would be treated is just as an employee instead of just like, having all of the, having it being like just falling into my individual taxes. I would still have to do like, I'd have to do corporate like payroll taxes and stuff. So yeah, there's pros and cons. There's a lot of different business structures for different sizes and everything and different income amounts. I still don't know if it would be super necessary for me to become an S Corp, because I think one of the big benefits is more at like tax deductions for expenses. But I don't know if I mean, I don't have any expenses, and this is the thing. I mean, I pay you know, all the gamers, Max, Dylan, and Ace and stuff as freelancers, because that's literally what they're doing essentially, right? Is that I kind of give them out a request. They're setting their own hours and pay rate, so that means legally they're defined as a freelancer. It's just a little easier for me to handle everything that way. Eventually, though, once I move to an S Corp, I may look into, I don't know. It's hard because, I don't know. Well, I'll have to figure all that out when the time comes, but I don't make enough money for that to matter yet, so. My effective tax rate last year was like 24%. Okay, over 100K is self-employed. Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what my tax rate was, but it was a pretty big chunk of my income. It was probably around a similar amount, like 24-ish. I'd have to look into all of that. Are you confined to game dev with the LLC, or can you make a movie with it as well? Yeah, technically you can. One thing that I'd have to specify is the type of like products that I'm creating. I think I had to do that in my trademark application for my name. You have to like tell the government like what your business does. So it's really easy. All you do is you just like go to the trademark portal and just add on movies as well as video games or whatever. So yeah, you can totally do whatever you want with it. I mean, there's no rules as to what you can and cannot pursue as a business. You can kind of do whatever you want. But you have to be aware of like what that entails. There's different businesses have different legal requirements and licenses. So if you're doing a bunch of different things under the same business, it might get really expensive or complicated. I know like with a lot of like Stuff like gambling and also like marijuana stuff. Like if you were a game development company and then also decided to start growing marijuana, it would get really complicated, I think, with the... Because one interesting thing that when I applied for my business account, you can't create a business bank account if you have any... if you do like marijuana stuff, because even though on a state level in most places it's legal now in the US, federally it's still illegal. So it means that it's yeah. I mean, I doubt anyone's gonna be doing that or whatever, but be aware of all the differences and what you need to like legally be prepared for. A lot of companies need licenses and also have to pay, I think, insurance on different like liabilities that can happen. Game development is basically a zero liability thing. There's no, I don't have like I'm not a physical worker. I have no risk of injury or anything, so it's pretty, there's not really anything I have to do for that. I was just gonna you're an escort. I am not. I'm not. Carpal tunnel, I guess so, yeah. But I mean, I don't think that's really like it's not like a high risk thing that you would even get carpal tunnel in the first place. So yeah, I don't think it's really anything to worry about. And also, as like the owner of the business, I don't think I have to worry about like workers' comp and stuff, because I don't think that matters when you own the business. I could get like, you know, insurance and stuff, but like, I mean, well, I have insurance, but like not, I don't know. I'm not really sure about all of the fine details of that stuff, so that's what we say until they sue you. Well, or until you sue you. Yeah, I sue myself. I gotta be prepared. No, I don't think you can do that. But yeah, I don't know. My accountant has a much better understanding of like what I actually need to do, right? Like, because that's his job. It's to keep up to date with all the business requirements and everything. So yeah, I definitely recommend consulting with an accountant if you're planning on doing all the LLC stuff, because it's very important. You don't want to break the law and you want to do things correctly. So I mean, so far everything's been really easy. Like, it's really not been that hard, and I've done a lot of stuff that isn't even necessary. It's just optional. Like, technically filing a trademark and a copyright for the game is completely optional. I don't have to do that. But it just gives me a little bit of legal protection. You know, if somebody in the US decided to make a business called Big Boy Games, then I could be like, hey, you know, you gotta change your name because I own the legal copyright in the US. That's one thing to keep in mind with trademark stuff, is it doesn't give you protection in every single country. The way trademarks work is that you have to apply for every country individually. So it's just not worth the money for me to do that, because it would probably cost me like $50,000 for all the different application fees. It's just not realistic. So yeah. I mean, the thing is you kind of like don't have to worry about that so much, especially if you're distributing on Steam, because Steam has its own like filters against stuff like that. Like, you can't call yourself on Steam EA or Electronic Arts or something. They're gonna say, hey, you can't do that. And it's the same way around. Like, nobody else can make a seller on Steam called Big Boy Games. So I don't really have to worry about that so much. But at least I decided to do it. Anyways, just to be safe. Not every country. Well, yeah, there's exceptions. I think my trademark might also apply to Canada. I think we may have a trademark agreement with them, but it's been a while since I did the trademark, so times might have changed. I have no idea anymore. And yeah, like the EU, I think the EU has a lot of like shared laws and stuff like that, or shared like systems. So yeah, I'm sure you could just apply one for all of the EU. But yeah. When did you start the LLC for your first release? When you're building up to it? I actually did it like not that long ago. When I was working on Pogo Rocket and everything, I started doing business as Big Boy Games as a sole proprietor in like 2021 when I was working on Pogo Rocket. But eventually, it was a little bit before the release of Starground on Steam. I decided to upgrade it to an LLC. So it's not like a thing. I mean, it's not like this critical, like, you have to do it before you do anything. It's like, just, I'd probably recommend getting it set up before you release your game, but it's not like, it's not a super pressing, like, time constraint thing. So, yeah. And also, it's the same way, like, if I 1 year make a ton of money, I can actually, retroactively treat my company as an S-Corp, as long as I do it before the end of the year. So, you know, it's pretty easy to change your company structure depending on how much you make on a given year and stuff. So, yeah. Like, hopefully at some point, you know, I launch a game that makes a little more money so that I'm not broke anymore. That'd be cool. And if that does happen, then I would, basically treat all my earnings and stuff for that year as an S-Corp retroactively. So, yeah. Because I've gone over this a lot with my accountant, and, like, because, you know, just planning ahead. If, you know, anything does do really well, I need to be prepared for what I need to do, like, from the business side to do it in the cheapest way possible. So, yeah. Yeah, I still don't know, though, because I think he might have been saying that under the assumption that I would have expenses given my earnings, but I don't think I'm ever gonna have expenses other than paying Dylan and Max and stuff, so I don't know. We'll see. There's just no reason to incur expenses if I can do it myself. And it's honestly much safer that way anyways. It's low risk. Like, if I have a game that doesn't do well, I don't lose anything. I mean, I lose my time, yeah, and that sucks. But I have no expenses. So, you know, that's pretty nice. I've spent $0 on Starground, except for paying Max and Dylan. But that's kind of like a different sort of expense, because if we one day stopped making money, then it would just be like, I just wouldn't be able to pay them. And so we wouldn't, like, go into the red, into the negative. Like, you know, we would just max out at 0 profit, and then that's fine. We never get negative profit. But we're not at that spot. How do we get on the barrel? Well, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to go around. I'm definitely not making very much money. I'll just say that. But, yeah, I don't know. I do need to try and make more money, because it's hard. Things are so expensive, especially in the US. I don't know. But yeah. Okay, I need to fix that snapping up there. It's back in a build preview. Not build preview. Blueprinter. We need to say this is actually dot snapped. I can't find that apparently. Oh, snapped F, and then step is 16. Oh. There we go. So that fixes that. I still don't know why our position is like all whack. It's probably because our drag start and drag end things get all screwed up, so may have to fix that. It's also probably because our global position's not being reset back to... I don't know. I gotta figure that out. I mean, drag end is whatever that is. So drag start, drag end should still be equal to whatever our mouse position is, which is also equal to this. But drag start should always stay the same. It's just going to be whatever our global position is at that given moment. So that might actually be the issue, is that drag start is set, but we're getting our drag end position minus drag start, but we're not taking into account our actual, our position. So I think that's the problem. Okay, so yeah, I gotta figure out all that. Depends. Technically, expenses are anything related to your work field. Yeah, I mean, I do have some expenses. Like, you're allowed to deduct, even if you are using your, like, personal assets or your business assets for personal use, you can still deduct the percentage of time that you're using it for your business. So like, let's say I bought a new computer. If I'm using it 75% of the time for big boy games, then I can deduct 75% of the cost of my computer. So yeah, there still is expenses. I mean, but I guess what I mean is more like, I never have any expenses that are absolutely necessary expenses. You know, stuff like, we have to pay rent, and you know what I mean? Like, where if you don't pay it one day, then you're screwed. I can incur definitely expenses that I can deduct off my taxes and stuff, but like, it's optional. So I'm never gonna be able to, or well, not be able to, but I never have to put myself in a spot where I go into the red. So yeah. What's going on here? Now it's a null instance. Why did my node just get deleted? I guess I accidentally deleted that node. Whoopsies. So much responsibility with LLC if you do nothing with it in the meantime. I mean, not really. If you don't make enough to even report your taxes or whatever, then it's no big deal. I don't know how you would handle taxes if you work a job and then also make money on the side, self-employed, because I don't have another job. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, the only other thing you have to just keep in mind if you have an LLC, it can just sit there, but I think every 10 years you have to renew your like business registration, and it's different for every state, so I don't even know. Like that changes the amount and how frequently you have to do it, depending on where you live. I think it's like $100 or something every 10 years, so that's basically nothing. And then also every year I have to do like another one. I can't remember what it's called, but that's only like $20 per year. So it's, you know, it's basically nothing. So yeah, there's no, I don't think there's really any issue with like creating your LLC really early. Then there's not really a whole lot of pressure to have to immediately start using it. As long as you just keep paying for your registration things, like even if you make $0 from your LLC, it'll be fine. It's not like the government's gonna disband your company because you're not making money or something. So, and again, this is all just for the US because that's all I know. It might be completely different like if you live in other places. So also looks like our blueprinting thing is working. What did I even do? All I did is just make the position snap. And now it just works? Well, I don't know what I did, but I guess I added I made it so you can drag them all around whatever direction you want now, guys. Oh, there's a little bit of quirkiness, though, when you're, like, moving it. Oh, that's weird. Oh, so it looks like you can, like, make it shift weird. So, okay, I'm gonna work on this, but I do have to end stream, because we've been going for almost 4 hours. I gotta go eat dinner. But thank you, gamers, for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. I think blueprints are in a really good spot. I'm gonna work on the ghost building that you can build, and I don't think that'll be very hard. So yeah, it's just gonna be a building that gets set a sprite and some info about what the building is, and that's pretty much it. So yeah. But yeah, thank you gamers for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. This update will be out tomorrow, so be on the lookout. I don't know exactly what time. I'm gonna try and do it earlier, but it's we'll see. I'm probably gonna be up all night working on the game just to get those last little things done. But yeah. Well, thank you gamers for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. We'll next be live on Wednesday, about 3:30 p.m. MDT. Feel free to buy the game tomorrow when it's on sale. Don't buy it now. And join the Discord if you want. So yeah. Thank you gamers, and let's go pick somebody to raid. Why don't we? Let's see who we want to raid today. Adagon's placing down some pixels. Adagon's actually playing Gamedev. That's a fun game. I do like Gamedev. We'll raid Adagon. All right. Thank you, gamers. I'm gonna get this raid started, and I hope you guys enjoy the update. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I'll be ready to push some post big update updates if anybody has suggestions and stuff. So yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.